the scene live at Phoenix International Raceway, where driver introductions are about to begin and the start of tonight's NASCAR Nationwide Series 200-mile race is approaching quickly. Plenty of star power in this field, from former series champions riding a hot streak like Kevin Harvick to two drivers who've dominated recent racing here and this season's championship so far, to the young upstart who topped them all in last week's race. The cars and crews are ready. The fans are too, to see some hot competition on a warm night at the Jewel in the Desert.
T-minus 10, 9, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, ignition.
ESPN's NASCAR Countdown comes to you from Phoenix, Arizona, and the most picturesque setting in all of racing. Tucked against the foothills of the desert mountains that surround the Valley of the Sun sits the Phoenix International Raceway, where the cactus and critters give way to the speed and fury of competition. In race 7 of the NASCAR Nationwide Series season, a showdown at sundown on this tricky 1-mile track. No question the two leading men in this one are Carl Edwards, the defending series champion, and the man only 23 points behind him in this year's standings, Kyle Busch. They've dominated the headlines this season, just as they've dominated Victory Lane at this track last year.
Here at Phoenix, does Kyle Busch go back-to-back, or does Carl Edwards pick up win number 1? And the caution flies. This will be our third green-white checker this year. Here comes Carl. He's trying to close the gap. Does he have enough? Kyle Busch, though, going to come out of turn number 4. He's going to pick up his second straight win here at Phoenix.
I'm just watching Kyle here, remembering not to run second to him again.
Now that he was given that top spot by his crew, he hasn't looked back.
Sees the green, he's on the gas, trying to get away from Kevin Harvick. Up front, it is all Carl Edwards. Hamlin to the outside, he may make this close. Hamlin tightens it up, but not enough. Here's Carl Edwards. He'll see the checkered flag first. He'll win.
And it's already been an interesting day for Carl Edwards. He had a collision in practice this morning, recovered from that finally, and won the pole. How would you describe this day?
Yeah, it didn't start out so well. I mean, we almost ripped the duck right off the side of the car. But my guys worked really hard. They got it put back together. We didn't even make a mock qualifying run, and the thing was screaming fast out there. So, hopefully it continues the way it's going now.
Still, with limited practice time, what are the concerns heading into tonight's race?
First concern, I was looking at the sun there. I hope they've got the windshield taped up real well. I think that's going to be a factor. The other thing is we're going to finish the race, in cooler conditions without the sun beating down on the racetrack. So I hope the handling of this Ford Fusion's good, and I'm just going to have to rely on Dan Stillman and those guys for that.
Well, the car is pretty dinged up, but it is a good race car. It's the one he won with here back in the fall, Shannon.
Mike, down here with Kyle Busch, who is a 2-time winner here at this racetrack in the Nationwide Series, so you know what kind of car you need to get to victory lane. Scale of 1 to 10, how good is this car and why?
I'm not sure exactly. I mean, judging off everybody else, it's pretty close to them too. I'd say it's a 7, it's an 8 maybe. We've just got to bide our time tonight, and we start 5th, a little further back than what we're used to here. Normally we're a front row starter, but going out early sort of hurt us earlier today. But the Z-Line Designs Toyota should be good today. Looking forward to it, and hopefully we can make up some more ground, of course, on Carl, but more importantly, maybe we can try to win this thing.
You have been on the racetrack all day between the Cup and the Nationwide Series, so you've been able to see how it's changed. What is the biggest challenge you're going to face as it continues to evolve over the next 200 miles?
Well, the biggest thing is it cooling down. Where's it going to go? Is it going to get all the way back to where it was this morning, or is it going to stop at a point? And so just trying to figure all that out. During the hot day today, it got pretty slick. We were battling it there towards the end of practice earlier this morning. And so with the temperatures cooling back down, you're just not sure how far back it'll go with the rubber getting down, and track changes all the time.
All right, and Kyle Busch tonight is our in-race reporter. If you want to ask him a question that may be answered during today's race, go to ESPN.com, keyword, ask the driver, and stay tuned tonight to see if your question is selected. Alan?
All right, Shannon, thank you. The Kyle and Carl show has certainly played well at Phoenix. They've each got a couple of wins. Kyle has led more laps, though Carl has a better average finish. Still no reach to say that they'll both be headline players tonight. And not only is the racetrack location one of the prettiest settings in all of sports, but the location of our ESPN pit studio is outstanding. Right outside the fence in turn 2, the cars come right at us before hanging a very important left turn. Inside, you'll find Alan Bestwick with Dale Jarrett and Andy Petrie. Rusty and Brad have the weekend off. Phoenix fast and fun.
Yeah, these race drivers love to come here and race. There's not a lot of grip on the racetrack. That's why they'll be looking for that sun to go down. That gives them a little bit more grip. But the two ends are so totally different. 1 and 2 has some banking, but a very tight corner. 3 and 4 flat, and you have to carry a lot of speed through there. So it makes it a real challenge, Andy, for the driver and crew chief to come up with a good setup here.
Yeah, you're talking about how fun it is. It can be a nightmare for a crew chief because of those challenges you're talking about. The track is so different than anything we run on that you come here as a crew chief and you really have to compromise the setup of the car, so it can make the crew chief really frustrated.
Carl Edwards obviously has been the story of the day. The crash in practice that basically kept him from 90 minutes of the 2-hour practice session. You heard Carl's thoughts a minute ago. What's it mean for him tonight in your opinion?
Yeah, some of that go along with Carl in his concern about the handling of his race car. They beat the field by about 2.5 tenths in qualifying. That tells me that he could possibly be a little bit too tight. With this being an impound race, they can only make certain adjustments. So are they going to be able to adjust that out of their car and get it to where he can race at night, Andy?
And that practice they missed is really critical. I mean, these guys are out there practicing while they're fixing this car, finding out what the track is doing as they put laps on the tires. That's something they didn't get. They've got some teammates to rely on some of that, but they are going, just the fact that they did outrun the field by so much. As a crew chief, I would wonder, are we going to have to really turn some screws on this car tonight to make it competitive when it needs to be, and that's the end of the race?
We've seen the pendulum in this championship race between Carl Edwards and Kyle Busch kind of swing back and forth, in large measure lately because of mistakes on pit road. Andy, there's a lot of pressure there.
Oh, a ton of pressure for crew chiefs. When you have drivers of this caliber, and I'm talking about elite drivers, I was lucky enough to be a crew chief for Dale Earnhardt Sr., and so I know what it's like to try to do that. And what you have to do as a crew chief in that position is to give them a good, solid race car, one that handles well, and don't make mistakes. Don't let the car let him down, and don't make mistakes on pit road. Let the driver do what he can do on the racetrack. He gets paid to do that, and he can do it well. Let him do it. Give him the opportunity to do it. Don't let the car or the crew let him down.
All right, well, we'll see if either of those crews or crew chiefs have one of those moments again tonight where they let their thoroughbred horse down while he's trying to run for that victory, or if Kyle and Carl can wind up fighting it out on the racetrack for victory. Hey, later in NASCAR Countdown, Clint Boyer, the Nationwide Series champion and former winner, is going to join us in the Tech Garage. He's going to hang around for the race as well. We look forward to that. Up next, Kevin Harvick, winner at Bristol last time he drove. We go side by side with Kevin and his team owner, wife Delana. And one of the drivers who could spoil the Kyle and Carl party, Joey Logano, who outran them both last week in Nashville. That and more on the Valley of the Sun edition of NASCAR Countdown.
NASCAR Countdown, brought to you by Nationwide Insurance. Play Driver Pick'em, presented by Nationwide Insurance on ESPN.com for a weekly shot at $500.
Winding down a beautiful mid-70s day in Phoenix, Arizona, and counting down to the start of tonight's NASCAR Nationwide Series 200-miler, where Joey Logano looks to make it back-to-back wins.
There's a lot of pressure to succeed. You know, when Joe gives racing, you know, that's what we're here for. That's what everyone's here for, is to win races.
Boy, it's Fast and Furious, and they are duking it out. Logano going to try and take the lead, and it does.
I was all excited. I was like, all right, I got to keep digging here. And I was driving as hard as I can.
Car 5 keeps it better.
There was not an option for me. I had to win.
The youngster is going to pick up his first win of the 2009 campaign.
Yeah, baby, get you some of that. Yeah.
Kyle Busch, Carl Edwards are two of the best in the business right now, and he beat them.
He just keeps fighting and fighting at it, and he does a great job. And he needed that for emotions. It was great for him.
I've come so close and never was able to get this guitar, and to finally get it, it's cool.
In the focus on Logano's Sprint Cup Series rookie year, lost is the fact that his Nationwide Series season, which was very good a year ago, has been just as good this year. Through his first 5 starts in each of those seasons, a win, a similar number of top 5s, an average finish. No sophomore slump for Logano so far on this side of the garage. Last week's winner starts second tonight, Vince Welch.
Well, and Joey Logano just chatting with his teammate Kyle Busch here. You guys trading secrets? What are you talking about here?
We're just talking about our race cars, see what we got. He thinks we got about the same Nationwide car. Both of them are about driving the same. So let's see what we can do with the Sport Clips there today. We got a good qualifying position, and we started second last week, so we'll see if we can do it again.
How much did that win last week affect you and your confidence?
Oh, it's huge. I tell you, the wins are so hard to come by these days, and when you finally get one, it's awesome. It's an awesome feeling, and it makes you dig down even harder and keep trying even harder to get even more. So it was awesome for the whole 20 bunch. That was just that was cool.
Joey Logano wearing a big smile, hopes to be doing the same after the race tonight. Shannon Spake.
Vince, it was a little bit of a rough start for the 88 team in the Nationwide Series this season. Before Texas, your crew chief sat you down. You guys had a talk. Since then, you've rolled off 2 top 5s. What did he say to you?
Just basically it's a long season, and you can't try to do too much, and that was basically where we're at. I want to win every race. I don't really want to run 5th, but sometimes that's what you got to take. So I think we've got a great car here with the Delphi Chevrolet, and hopefully it's a winning car, but if it's not, we'll take a solid effort and hopefully get another top 5.
Alan, the 88, he rolls off 7th today.
All right, Shannon, thanks. Here are the NASCAR Nationwide Series championship standings entering tonight's race. Beyond the top 2, separated by only 23 points, by the way. Note drivers 3 through 10. David Reagan, Jason Leffler, very quietly off to consistent starts. And 3 rookies in positions 7, 8, and 9. Justin Allgaier, Brendan Gaughan, and Scott Lagasse. DJ Andy, when you look at the list below the top 2, who in that group strikes you and why?
Well, when I look at it, Scott Lagasse's done a great job. Jason Leffler up in the top 5. But one guy that I'm really looking at, because we've talked about David Reagan getting to victory lane. He's not running for the championship here. He needs to get to victory lane. I believe that he can. This could be the night, but he has to do that. He has to prove it to himself and us that he can do that, Andy.
Yeah, you have believed in him, and he is a good guy. I really like him, but he's got to show me. I got to see it. I haven't seen it yet that he can actually be one of the guys that can win these races. There's some good guys he has to beat to do that. Kyle Busch, Joey Logano, just a couple of them, and then throw in Carl Edwards, Kevin Harvick, and those guys. He has to show me that he can win a race, and he hasn't done it yet.
David just being introduced. He starts 12th in tonight's race. And back to Logano for just a minute. Moving up to the Cup level this year has been a little tough. How did that Nationwide Series win play for him, you think? You just heard his comments a minute ago. What do you think?
Yeah, he took my word. Huge. That was a big weekend, a big win in the Nationwide Series. He beat his teammate Kyle Busch, who's considered one of the best. It was just a big day for him. And, I know this is going to come as a surprise, and probably a few crew chiefs and owners can tell you, drivers can be somewhat of a head case sometimes. Confidence is a big thing, and you just have to have that. I can remember times in my career when things weren't going that good on the Cup side, but I would go over and get a win in what was the Busch Series at that time. It just gives you that confidence, hey, I can win, and shows everybody else, your crew chiefs, everybody involved, that you can do it.
Yeah, you know who else it gives confidence to is Greg Zipadelli in the Cup Garage. Now he knows he's got a guy that can win. He already knew, but this just reinforces the fact that he has a winning driver. It's just going to take some time for them to get the car just like they want it so he can win in the Cup Series.
Drivers can be a head case. And you let that go. I can't believe it. The longest move from studio to booth is this one tonight, so we got to send you guys on your way. Good luck. There's like 200 steps when you get to the other side to get up there. Yeah. We wish you well on that. Certainly Kevin Harvick is one who could end this night tonight in victory lane. Here are Kevin and his boss, wife Delana, side by side.
Kevin Harvick, his story is he's trying to win for the first time in his own equipment.
Anytime we go to Bristol, I think I'm pretty confident just for the amount of success that we've been able to have there and really all the series.
We see Kevin Harvick performing great on the racetrack. Let's hope that his pit crew's up to the task today.
I was just happy to be in the same group that I pitted with when we came to pit road.
There was a problem in the 18 pits.
Oh, this is going to be real costly for Kyle Busch because this is going to put him on the last car on the lead lap.
Kyle had a mistake, and I thought once we got out front, I thought it was over. So, and it was. But worked out good.
No, that's not true, because I asked you at the end when that last restart, I said, did you think you were going to win, or were you nervous? And you said I was nervous.
Oh, I was nervous, but
normally he never says
lose.
that. No, I know, but you never tell me you're nervous, and I thought, no, that was odd, that was different.
It would be his first time to go to victory lane in his own race car, and here he comes. Kevin Harvick does it at Bristol.
How about that? Awesome job in the pit.
I felt like I was a freaking rookie again. I should have a yellow stripe on my rear bumper, like I was going for my first win all over again.
I actually sat up in a suite that day, and I started to cry. I was pretty emotional. And
They kicked her off.
I sat up in the suite in the Martinsville truck race, too. So I got down to victory lane, and they said, well, you're 2 for 2. You're not on pit road. I'm pretty superstitious, and it worked.
Whatever works. I'm not going to argue with it.
And catching up with Kevin Harvick now, we heard your wife say she's a little superstitious. She doesn't want to be in the pit box. Where's she going to be tonight?
Well, that's a good question. I would say that Ernie and those guys probably won't let her up on the pit box, but she's a lot more superstitious than I am. But all in all, it's worked out for us last few weeks, so hopefully she sticks to it.
Now that you do have that win behind the wheel of one of your own cars, how does that affect expectations for you and this team moving forward?
Well, I think, this team was built on trying to run in the top 5, and we knew last year was going to be a struggle to get everything where it needed to be. But, the goal was to always make it a top 5 team to where week in and week out you could be competitive in that area. And if you do that, you're going to be in contention for wins. So the car's been really good this week. Got to thank Rheem Tankless Water Heaters for being on our Chevrolet this week, and hopefully we can get another one.
And Alan, expectations are always high for Kevin Harvick here in Phoenix. After all, he's won in all 3 National Touring Series on this track.
And the 33 starts 6th tonight. Thank you, Michael. A couple other drivers to watch in this race. Paul Menard had another great qualifying run. He starts 3rd, had a top 5 finish at Texas the last race he entered. Jason Leffler says Phoenix is his favorite track. He's enjoyed success here in the past. He starts 8th tonight. And Mike Bliss, another guy with tons of laps here in all kinds of race cars and trucks. Car 1 lines up tonight in position 10. Clint Boyer joins us live next. ESPN and ABC, your destinations for the NBA playoffs tomorrow. First at 1 Eastern on ESPN, Ben Gordon and the Bulls face Paul Pierce and the Boston Celtics. Then at 3 Eastern on ABC, Rip Hamilton and the Pistons take on King James and the Cavaliers. The NBA playoffs first round on ESPN, ABC, and ESPN360.com tomorrow and continuing all weekend.
Cleaning bathrooms has got to be my least favorite household chore. The toilet thing.
Never. He never cleans the bathroom.
Oh, I don't have any household chores. I have a cleaning lady. I'm not gonna lie.
The key word here is chore.
He hates anything to do with housework.
So my wife has learned to, not saying it's a chore, it's like a challenge.
We have to make a game out of it, something to inspire his competitive nature.
I hate household chores, so I try to neglect them as long as possible.
They got some speedy dry now, boys. They turning this thing into a Clint Boyer special track right here.
It is a special track for Clint Boyer. This is April 20th, 2007. Where Clint Boyer took the checkered flag first in the Nationwide Series race here at Phoenix. Last year's Nationwide Series champion has been kind enough to join us now and is going to hang around with us throughout the night. We've moved over to the Craftsman Tech Garage for our What to Watch For segment. That's pretty good memory for you, huh?
Yeah, it was a good memory.
I bet it is. And by the way, Tim Brewer's here. He's going to play with some of his little toys that he tinkers with in here in just a minute. First, I want you to talk about this racetrack with me for just a second. It's shaped a little differently, one end to the other. The straightaways are different lengths. The banking different at each end of the racetrack. It's a little bit of a handful for a driver, isn't it?
Absolutely. Very challenging racetrack, but a lot of fun to go around. Very racy, root and gouge, bump and bang with each other, and you have a lot to, to do with what happens in the outcome of the race as a driver, and that's what a race car driver looks for. It's not always leaning on them crew chiefs to hold up their end of the deal all the time.
There you go. I want to take a lap around the racetrack from an onboard camera and get you to tell us what a driver's seeing, what he's feeling, and what he's thinking at each of the different ends of this racetrack.
Absolutely.
That's a familiar guy behind the wheel there, by the way.
No, right here, you're just wanting those guys to not crash in front of you.
Yeah.
But, you carry so much speed down into turn 1, heavy braking. Really have to roll through the corner and keep the car freed up throughout the night, because that's the end that's tight down there, and you really have to have the car rolling through the middle.
Yep.
Now, turning down into turn 3 right here, got a lot of momentum, very flat. You really got, the car gets light, you got to trail a little bit of throttle through 3 and 4, and then throttle hard up off to get that good run down the long front straightaway.
It's an interesting place to watch a race from. When you stand outside turn 2, like where our studio is, and you watch you guys come right at that wall, it's like, it must be really kind of an edgy feeling inside the car.
It is, and as you can see here in traffic, these two guys are running in front of you. What do? You got to pick one. The 00 looks like he might roll the guy on the outside, and then all of a sudden the one on the inside looks like he'll roll the guy on the outside. So you got to pick and choose your battles and be smart at a racetrack like this, because it can bite you.
All right, so you're going to deal with changing conditions in a race here. The sun's going to set, temperature's cool. As a crew chief, the word you're going to say to your, as a driver, the word you're going to say to your crew chief the most is?
Keep me me freed up, baby.
Yeah, keep me freed up. All right, so Mr. Brewer, time for you to show us what we might see on pit road tonight to do just that.
Alan, my best friend is the air pressure gauge. What we're going to try to do there is adjust the air pressure in the tire to keep the car turning through the center of the corner. But when you have to take a big swing at it and make a big change, you see the left rear tire changer pull the tire off. He's actually going to reach in, pull the spring rubber out. That's going to decrease the spring rate right there, enabling the car to turn from the center of the corner off. But at the same time, if I need to take another big swing at it, we've got this spring rubber hanging on the right rear. It will increase the spring rate, free the car up also. So if you got to take a swing at it, you're going to see these things all over the racetrack.
All right, we'll watch for the spring rubbers to fly on the pit lane tonight. Tell you somebody else we need to watch for is with Vince Welch right now.
Well, anytime you talk about race favorites, it doesn't take long to get to this man. Greg Biffle, certainly one of those we expect to be in the front tonight. He's been on the pole here. He's won here. What is it about this racetrack and your driving style that seems to sync up?
Well, this racetrack's a lot of fun here in Phoenix, and I'm just glad to be back in the City Financial car. I've taken about 4 weeks off, and I'm ready to get back to nationwide racing. So just, I like it. It's different both ends. It's a straight break into this corner. It really opens up, dogleg down the back stretch. 3 and 4 is a real drawn-out corner. And, it's just a unique place, and that's what I like about it.
And when the car gets free, well, there's not many better than driving it than Greg Biffle. Alan?
Fun and fast, like we were talking about with DJ and Andy a couple minutes ago. Time for our J-Ski news and notes. Two-time Indy 500 winner Elio Castroneves found innocent today by a jury of tax evasion. There was a hung jury on conspiracy charges. The same verdicts reached for his sister. Attorney Alan Miller found innocent of tax evasion and conspiracy charges. Miller also represents several NASCAR drivers. Jim France stepping down June 1st as Chief Executive Officer of International Speedway Corporation, the company that owns this and many other tracks. France will remain as chairman of the board in a non-executive capacity. ISC President Lisa France Kennedy will now be CEO. And Quebec native Patrick Carpentier to drive a Michael Waltrip Racing Toyota in Montreal with sponsorship from Napa in that race that comes up for the Nationwide Series August 30th. Closing in on the green flag in Phoenix. Big race tonight for Michael Waltrip, his hometown, his sponsor's hometown. The Best Western folks. Mikey starts 9th tonight. Jeff Burton, 2 Phoenix Cup wins and a nationwide win. He starts just outside the top 10. Watch him moving up. And speaking of moving forward, both Justin Allgaier and Stephen Wallace had crashes in qualifying. They'll both have to come from the back in unpracticed backup cars. Just something to keep your eye on when we go green at Phoenix. So let me get right to the point. Phoenix International Raceway may be the prettiest setting in NASCAR, but it'll bite you in a hurry if you don't watch out. 43 drivers go 200 laps tonight, hoping to scare off the competition and roll into victory lane. All right, enough of the desert jokes here. This track opened its doors in 1964. It has become a favorite stop of NASCAR drivers and fans. And tonight, the 7th race of the Nationwide Series season goes green shortly. A quick 200-lap sprint from green to checker. Let's go trackside for the opening ceremony.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your hats as the Trevor Brown Jr. ROTC presents our nation's colors. And now, please welcome Phoenix International Raceway Chaplain Ken Bowers as he offers tonight's invocation.
Thank you, Heavenly Father, for allowing us one more time to gather at our beloved Phoenix International Raceway for a night of NASCAR racing. You bless us in so many ways, but one wonderful realization is that we may not know what tomorrow holds, but we know you hold tomorrow. With that assurance, we ask for a safe race tonight, and we pray that you will accept our thanks for all these things. As it is in your name we pray, and everyone said, Amen.
Please welcome 551 entertainment recording artist Aaron Anderson with our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts parts we watched were so gallantly streaming. In the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Luke Air Force Base, just north of the track here at Phoenix International Raceway. The flyover from the 310th Fighter Squadron there. So time for the drivers to climb aboard, buckle in, and get ready to go. 200 laps on the fast mile in the desert southwest of Phoenix. The NASCAR Nationwide Series fires them up next.
NASCAR Nationwide Series at Phoenix International Raceway. Brought to you by Nationwide Insurance, official auto insurance partner of NASCAR. And the auto parts experts at AutoZone. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Keep on digging. Move forward. Hell yeah. Digging. On three. Let's go. Digging. Digging. All right. 1, 2, 3. Digging!
We're digging the weather tonight here in Phoenix. Chamber of Commerce weather. Temperature reached the mid-70s late this afternoon, and as the sun sets during the race, it'll drop to the mid to upper 60s. And a decent little breeze blowing across the racetrack from turns 2 to turn 4 as well. Something else for the drivers to contend with as the race begins. Now, DJ and Andy's excellent adventure from outside turn 2, around the back of the racetrack, across to the front stretch, through the no-drive zone for golf carts, and up the 200 or so steps from the bottom of the grandstand to the booth, all in record time, we hope. We join them now, hopefully, and the only man not sweating and out of breath, Dr. Jerry Punch. Come on, Doc.
Hey, thanks, Alan. Folks, glad to have you with us. And guys, glad to have you up here. Good job.
We made it. Yeah, that's hard on the old guy, though. We're going to have to find a different way.
I know it is. Oh, you're talking about
me.
Oh, I thought you were talking about me.
Imagine in the early years when the prospectors had to cross the whole desert with no golf cart.
Don't know how they did it.
Yeah, God bless them.
Let's talk about how technically challenging this racetrack is. Over the years we talk about it. Let's break it down, though. DJ, drivers say turn 1. It drives like a short track, but brakes like a road course. What do they mean?
Maybe that's why I never got around here good. I was confused. Now, it is one of the fastest part of the racetrack and the highest braking point on the racetrack. But you have to be careful to get on the brake and then off of it. You have to carry speed through the center of the corner if you're going to have any exit speed off of turn 2 and down the back straightaway.
And Andy, you exit turn 2 for the back straightaway, which is not a straightaway.
That's the problem. It's not straight. And this track is so challenging and the turns are so different. You really have to decide as a crew chief which end of the racetrack you want your car to handle the best on. I've always picked 3 and 4. To me, it seemed like if you can carry speed through there and off that corner and down the straightaway, that you would have a better car than you would if you tried to concentrate on the other side.
For a 1-mile oval, you got a long way to go down turn 3 and around turn 4. And DJ, when you finally get out of turn 4 to the front straightaway, there's no room.
Yeah, you would think that'd be easy. Getting off of turn 4, you need all of the racetrack, and then all of a sudden, you come down a front straightaway that is very narrow. If anything should happen there, you're going to have a hard time avoiding it. That's why we see, wondering why these guys wreck on the racetrack. Well, there's really, on the straightaway, I mean, there's really not a lot of room there to avoid anything.
And folks, that's just the racetrack itself. Now, to add to the racetrack challenge, about halfway through, they're going to turn the sun off, which means it's going to get dark tonight, and guys, a whole different set of challenges.
Yeah, just the challenges of the driver being able to see. That's the first thing, and they're going to have to deal with that. We heard Carl Edwards say just a second ago how he was kind of worried about it. It looks like the sun's going to be down enough that won't be as big a problem as he was anticipating. The other thing is the track is really going to change. That temperature is going to change, and it changes the setup a lot on these cars.
It will change the setup as the sun will set over that grandstand. And in spite of the challenges of this racetrack, we've got a star-studded field. Over half the former winners, all 3 multiple winners in tonight's field, Busch, Edwards, and Biffle. Let's go trackside.
Race fans, it's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Here to give the command, please welcome Bashas Vice President of Sales and Merchandising, Robert Ortiz.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
That you would put all 7? Yes, sir.
Cars have fired and getting set to roll off. You know, folks, it was 10 years ago at the age of 13 that a young man made a name for himself in a small oval in the desert outside of Las Vegas. Tonight, that driver, now 23 years of age, tries to make a name for himself on his way, possibly, to a nationwide championship. Kyle Busch, our in-race reporter, will talk with him when we come back.
Gotta make 'em wanna, gotta make 'em wanna, gotta make 'em wanna come.
Earlier today, it was Carl Edwards who picked up where he left off last November as the darling of the desert. He was the best in the house. Carl Edwards putting his Ford on the pole, picking up his 14th career pole and 3rd of 2009 for the NASCAR Nationwide Series. Now, while you watch to see where your favorite driver is starting, let's visit with our in-race reporter, the driver of the Cars.com Z-Line Designs Toyota, Kyle Busch, who starts back in 5th tonight.
Hey, Kyle, Dale Jarrett, the ESPN. You have a copy?
Hey, Dale. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Kyle. Hey, man, we love your style of all-out driving, but I just wanted to know, racing for this championship, are you making any decisions based on the points instead of that wide-open driving style all the time?
Yeah, you've got to a little bit. You know, when you run for a championship, you've got to change somewhat. So, for us, you know, we feel like we did the right thing last week by running second. That was the best we could do. We could have taken a chance and driven too hard there, raced Joey too hard, and, you know, ended up wrecking ourselves. But racing in the way that we are, we feel like we did the right thing. So we're looking forward to tonight. Hopefully we've got a good car where we won't really have to race anybody and we can race ourselves.
All right, Kyle, our second question comes from our ESPN mailbag, and Shane in Palo Verde, Arizona would like to know, you seem to race very well at Phoenix and Las Vegas. Why are you so successful racing in the desert?
I'm not sure. Same to be said for California. I'm pretty good there too. So must be the time zone. You know, I got an automatic clock that goes off in my head at 8 o'clock every morning. I'm up and awake. You know, it doesn't seem to work that well on the East Coast. So love it out here on the West Coast. So close to Vegas, so close to home. Feels nice, feels good. Got friends here. Just going to go out and give it a shot.
All right, man, we actually think you're pretty good everywhere, and thanks for talking with us tonight. Have a great race, and now Andy's going to talk with your crew chief, Jason Ratcliffe.
Hey, Jason, Andy up in the booth. You got us?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Jason, you guys raced each other really hard last week at Nashville, and you've talked about how you guys share all your information between the teams. But when it comes down to having to beat that teammate to win, how do you do it?
Well, it's tough. It's very challenging, as you saw last week. But like you said, our cars are usually set up very, very similar, which makes it, you know, when you're out there battling head-to-head, it makes it even that much more difficult to find even the smallest advantage. So you rely even more on your pit crew. It comes down to the little things, you know, how well your driver gets through traffic. You know, it's my job to keep up with you know, a couple tenths of air pressure can mean a lot in that situation. But that's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to try to be mistake-free on pit road and not make any mistakes and get this Z-Line Toyota back to victory lane.
Well, thank you very much for talking to us, Jason. Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Well, what a great job he has done this year for that Joe Gibbs Racing team. We'll have onboard cameras in 7 other cars tonight. A couple of Nationwide Series regulars, Mike Bliss and Jason Leffler, have not won here in a stock car, but they have been successful in USAC competition. And impressive rookie Justin Allgaier starting back in 42nd position. And Andy, this pit road can throw you a curve in a lot of ways. Explain it to us.
It can, Doc, because it is curved, and as you come around this thing, these guys are making these pit stops, but what they're looking for is they're looking for this line right here on this racetrack, and they're racing for the pit out line, and that's where they're going to be racing to. And there's some good pits on this pit road. You see Carl Edwards has the best one because he only has to roll just a little bit to the end.
Got to negotiate the curve and get off there. It's going to be a challenge. Here they come out of turn 4. Carl Edwards, who just joined our coverage, missed all but 30 minutes of practice with a damaged race car, but still put it on the pole.
Joey Logano had a great start there. Gets off of turn 2 and takes the lead.
Paul Menard slipping back. He will lose a couple of spots right in the middle there, sliding back behind the 18 of Busch and the 33 of Harvick.
It's like Joey likes that view out front from last week. He's taking off right where he left off in Nashville.
You can get used to that in a hurry.
We commented a moment ago, if you weren't tuned in during our NASCAR countdown show, Alan Bestwick mentioned the fact that in the one and only morning practice session, Carl Edwards' car was damaged with some sheet metal damage. They spent 90 minutes in the garage here, only got 30 minutes of practice at DJ. That could have an impact on the car as the night wears on.
Yeah, absolutely, and especially here at the beginning. He's not exactly sure what his car is going to be like here at the start, even though they did get some more practice, but he's just going to feel things out. He's in a championship battle. He's not going to take any chances. As we see Jeff Burton racing David Reagan here, you're going to see a lot of side-by-side racing here, and you saw David Reagan on that outside have the momentum and be able to make the pass.
Back in 11th position is the 6 car, David Reagan. We're talking about one of the drivers to watch. And there's a 16 car. Last time we saw Greg Biffle, he was going to victory lane. And at Las Vegas, breaking that 76 race winless streak, and now he's being challenged for 4th spot.
Yeah, I thought Kyle Busch was just going to be able to drive by Greg, but Greg's giving him a fight right here.
Yeah, and that outside, you can carry some momentum. You can hold somebody up down on the bottom if they can't get to the gas, although it looks like maybe Kyle's going to make the pass here. You see a battle for the lead here as Carl Edwards is pulled back to the bumper of Joey Logano. It's really hard. Winning the pole is a great thing, but on that first lap, the guy on the outside really has a little bit of an advantage because you don't want to drive down in there, drive too hard, slide up into him, and then you don't want to get into the gas too hard and maybe spin the tires on that initial start. So it's really tough to do that. We see Carl fighting back now, going to try to get back to the lead and get those 5 bonus points.
Yeah, we see Kyle Busch now has cleared Greg Biffle, is chasing these guys down. There's 11th spot. Look how loose he is. Reagan gets sideways off the corner.
Yeah, that's what can happen. These guys they're going to use the apron of this racetrack some to get their car turned, but if you get down there, it de-wedges the car sometimes. You get in the gas too hard, you'll break the back end loose.
Trying to hold off Scott Wimmer. That's 13th position as David Reagan has now lost a couple of spots. Mike Kelly, the crew chief of the 6 car, told me that they thought that David Reagan, this could be his night. They brought the best race car they have, the one he finished 5th with here last year, 4th at Milwaukee, and 4th at Richmond. He said he loves the race car, and it gets stronger as the night goes on.
See these guys up front, they're really heating it up. Here comes Carl Edwards on the inside.
You know, we had a couple of questions about Carl running that much faster. What would his car be like? I think he's showing us right now.
Real
it's going to be pretty
good.
good.
Just stay smooth. You're going to leave him behind.
You better look back just behind that 20 car as the guy is coming. Kyle Busch said in the countdown show that he wasn't accustomed to starting back all the way in 5th place. He was used to starting up front. He's trying to get there in a hurry.
Imagine starting way back in 5th. By the way, a couple of cars in the garage area. Kenny Wallace and the 28 car and the 90 of Dave Blaney. Battle for 8th position.
Michael Waltrip, he's one of the guys I would consider a sleeper in this race. He really needs to prove something, and he's got a good car. That's a good team. He's got a good starting spot. He started in the top 10 now. It looks like he's moving the right direction, moving forward.
Michael making only his 5th start of the year. Been a while since he's gone to victory lane back in 2004. Contact there.
Tap there from Mike Bliss. Paul Menard, he didn't get in the gas quite as much as Michael's wanted to. So now you'll see a lot of that as this night goes on and this race moves on. It's hard to pass here, and sometimes you have to use the bumper to move these guys just to break a little bit of traction, then you can go on and make a pass.
And when you've got somebody on your rear bumper, the intensity of getting by that guy comes up a little bit.
That's right, definitely does. Saw Jeff Burton look like he was going to be able to make the pass there. He has to fall back in behind Paul Menard.
And a couple of teammates going at it here with Kyle Busch and Joey Logano. That is for 2nd spot. It looks like Kyle will move to the inside and take it away.
And the car looks good out front right now, and it's early. I think if he's got any kind of problems with his setup from not having any practice time, it'll show up later in this run and as the track gets a little bit cooler.
11 laps in the books here of 200 at Phoenix International Raceway, the jewel in the desert, hosting the NASCAR Nationwide Series. And Cousin Carl, the pole sitter, now back out front. He has led the last 4 laps. Back in a moment. 15 laps in here at Phoenix International Raceway, and Carl Edwards, currently our leader of the Bashas Supermarkets 200. To just join our coverage, Edwards was the pole sitter. Got passed on lap 1 by Joey Logano, fresh off that victory at Nashville a week ago. Edwards has retaken the lead now and led for the last 10 laps. There were 8 cars that had to go to the back of the pack here after issues either in qualifying or in the garage area, but 2 drivers had problems in qualifying and had to go to backup cars. There's the impressive rookie we talked about, Justin Allgaier, who had to start back in 42nd position. Vince, he's on the move.
He sure is. He's picked up 15 spots. I talked with Chad Walter, the crew chief, just before the race got started tonight. He said, on paper, the cars are identical, but you never really know. It's definitely a curveball. Justin just came on the radio. He said it's a little bit tight right in the middle, but otherwise it's really, really good. The other car you mentioned going to the back is the 66 of Stephen Wallace. Very disappointed as well with their qualifying incident. They cut a right rear tire because they felt like they had a car here that was going to be a difference maker. They had to go to the backup. He's gone up 11 spots from the start, so things are good for the 66 as well, Doc.
Yeah, Stephen Wallace coming off his 3rd top 10 finish of the year at Nashville. Really showed a lot of maturity and patience at Nashville on the short track last week, starting back in the pack and driving all the way toward the front of the field. And here is the 2 car. Now, folks, this is Austin Dillon, who is the grandson of Richard Childress, making only his 3rd ever start in the NASCAR Nationwide Series. He made 2 a year ago. This is the first one of 2009. And Clint Boyer, the reigning series champion, joining us down in the pit studio. Clint, I know you talked to Austin last night and gave him some advice about this race. What did you tell him?
I just tried to help him out as much as I could. I watched him in the Cameron World race, watched some of the things that he was doing well and told him about those, and some of the things I thought he could do better. Good kid, obviously given the opportunity of a lifetime, but man, I'm telling you, he deserves it. Not just because he's Richard's grandson, because he really truly is a good boy. Both of them are, him and his brother both. But, he's doing a good job. I'm watching him. He's learning there. Justin went by him. He needs to latch on to him and see what he's doing and get up through the field with him.
Those are the words of Clint Boyer, who obviously drives in the Cup car and won the championship for Richard Childress a year ago. Now, this young man is the son of Mike Dillon, of course, and just trying to get his career jump started. And the whole trouble in turn 1, and the 52 car, Kevin Hamlin, has come up and hit it a ton, and that will bring out the yellow flag.
You shorten the back end up a little bit. Yeah, earlier, what a difficult place that is. That entrance to turn 1, you carried a lot of speed. You can get the car, if you get on the brake a little bit hard there and you've got a little too much rear brake, you can get the rear to wheel hop. And don't know that that's what happened here, but that is a very difficult part of the racetrack. See, getting down into turn 1, yeah, you can see the car just step out right there. Probably a little bit that the car was free and he got on the brake a little bit too hard. It just brings the back end around. You have to get the car, you fight loose in here because you want the car to turn through the center where you can really make some time.
Yeah, you're trying to make as much time as possible. And you drive the car down in there and hit that brake.
Spin up top against the wall. Up top against the wall.
There with Kyle Busch, you can see it happening right in front of him. He had enough time to miss that.
There comes the 52. That is the car owned by Jimmy Means. And crew chief, what do you do?
We haven't run very many laps so far. There'll be some guys that may want to work on their cars at this point, but it's a little bit early to be coming down pit road.
It is so hard to pass here. Would you consider, if you're from midpoint back, maybe gambling and coming in and just taking a couple of tires? And maybe
yeah, if everybody comes right here and you're one of those guys that trying to make up a few spots and starting in the back, I mean, just like Justin Allgaier, this would be a perfect opportunity. We see Carl Edwards making the move down pit road now. All of them are going to follow. And if I'm one of those guys, I will pull a little strategy right here.
Here they come, 45 miles an hour, headed to you, Vince Welch.
Kevin Harvick coming in. He says he could just be a touch better between 3 and 4. They're going to change all 4 tires. They're going to put scuffs on, take 0.2 of a pound of air out of the right front tire. Shannon Spake.
Vince, Kyle Busch in this 18 car, he said he started off loose. Now it's getting tight center. You saw that wrench. They went half round up on the track bar, 4 tires. Mike.
Shannon, as we've documented earlier, Carl Edwards only had about a half hour of practice. The car subsequently just a little bit tight. They're going to free him up a little bit with air pressure, a 4-tire change, and a full load of Sunoco race fuel on the 60. As the race ensues here on pit road, he's off the jacks and away.
32 of the 41 cars on the racetrack came on the pit road. Here's the race off. Mike Bliss, we're talking about some tire strategy. Trying to get in up front, get some laps led and points. You see Carl Edwards loses a spot. And Kevin Harvick back 5 positions in the 33 car. Under caution because of a spin and hard impact by the 52 car, Kevin Hamlin. Back with the green in a moment. In the shadows of the Estrella Mountains here at Phoenix International Raceway, we are under caution for the first time today, getting set for a restart. Michael Waltrip stayed on the racetrack, has not been on pit road, and he has now led for the first time this year, led the last 2 laps. He will lead him down to the green flag here in the Bashas Supermarket 200. NASCAR will hold a 31 car, Daryl Haar, a single lap for passing the pace car. This is Daryl's debut in the NASCAR Nationwide Series. See the 18 car scrambling on the outside there, guys. They had some trouble on the left side tires, as did the 33 car of Kevin Harvick on that pit stop. There's Carl Edwards now trying to get to the outside.
And 18 was having trouble with the rear tires hooking up off of that corner, but he's going for the lead right now.
And he power slid that thing all the way through the corner.
Yeah, and he's using up the side of the car.
He's taking the lead on the backstretch right now.
I think this is a pretty good idea on Michael Waltrip's part. He's going to get passed by a few cars here, but I think this will work out pretty good for him.
They only had 22 green flag laps on that first set of tires.
Marco,
that's not good.
Wrecking behind you. Under you. Jesus, 60
that didn't work out like he thought it was going to, I'm sure.
Well, he wasn't expecting to get hit.
Right, that's what I mean.
And I'd say that. It certainly looked that way.
I didn't do anything.
Yeah, that's.
He just drove all over you.
You have to go back to the garage there. Pretty hurt. You all right, Mike?
Carl was pretty lucky there not to get himself involved, too. Racing for a championship.
Here again, the contact. Watch the 1 underneath, and there's the contact, 60 and the 99.
Yeah. Nothing Michael Waltrip can do in that situation, but just ride it to the wall.
Michael Waltrip had stayed on the racetrack and not come on the pit road to be able to lead some laps. Had a very good race car. Thought this might be a night where he would get back to victory lane, picking up his 12th win in the series. But it is not to be because contact and then into the outside wall, heavy damage on the Toyota of Michael Waltrip. Under caution for the 2nd time tonight.
While we continue under caution here at Phoenix, a look at the upcoming motorsports calendar on the ESPN networks. NASCAR Now, Phoenix Pre-Race Edition, presented by 5 Hour Energy, 10 a.m. Eastern tomorrow. Then the NHRA Summit Racing Equipment qualifying and finals over the weekend. Qualifying tomorrow, the final Sunday. The American Le Mans Series at Long Beach, Sunday on ABC. And our next nationwide series race next Saturday, 2:30 Eastern ABC, the Aaron's 312 at Talladega. Need we say more? And from the ESPN pit studio with defending series champ Clint Boyer, there's the lucky dog on this caution. It is the 26 car. Brian Keselowski will get back on the lead lap with the Aaron's lucky dog free pass. Champ, you've been in these situations before. Guys with new tires racing around guys with older tires. Thoughts on what just brought out this caution?
And that's exactly what it is. You know, that's the nature of the beast at these short tracks like this. You know, Michael stayed out. He was on 2 tires, had his hands full, but by all means, he had the right to be up there. You know, he was racing hard. Carl had fresh tires, came up on him and just drove through him. You know, unfortunately that's the nature of the beast at these short tracks like this, but you know, that's unfortunate for Michael for sure.
And certainly Michael, every right to be frustrated after what happened. And Carl Edwards, of course, has his side of the story as well. That, you know, coming through, hello.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what it was.
Back it up, come low, good job, good job.
You know, Carl was rolling the outside, had a lot of momentum, just drove through him. You can tell Michael's plenty tall. You can see his hand. It was about 2 feet outside the window, but yeah, he has all the rights in the world to be mad and frustrated there for sure.
Here's what Carl Edwards said on his radio.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you saw that, Jason, right here. He just run me right to the fence. You know what I mean? Yeah, man, it's just racing. Just we got a long way to go, so just get out of your head. That's fine. I mean, this stuff happens. We'll just get back to racing here.
All right, so the Edwards camp side of the story there as we get ready to go racing with Kyle Busch back out in front. What a power restart last time. 4th to 1st in a lap.
That's Kyle.
Hammer down and gone, right?
That's right.
All right, let's see what he does this time here with now Edwards and Mike Bliss chasing closely behind him. Time to go green.
Kyle leads him down. Let's see what Edwards will do here. Mike Bliss, remember, when he came down pit road, only took on 2 tires, and the others got 4. Biffle back in 4th position. Logano is 5th.
I know things always look different from the driver's seat than what we see on TV sometimes, but Carl Edwards was very fortunate in that situation that he wasn't caught up in that. He did a great job once he created the contact of not getting involved and getting himself in a bad position points-wise.
And so did Greg Biffle, who was behind Edwards, not hitting him. Now here's a battle back in the pack 12 position. Paul Menard, the 98 car, getting past. Brendan Gaughan takes a spot away. That's 11th spot, and trying to make a move on the outside as well is the car of Jason Leffler.
Carl's got a strong race car, no doubt. Look at him drive underneath Kyle Busch coming off the corner.
That's what really makes this racetrack fun, is situations like this where you can drive up, get underneath somebody, race side by side for laps at a time here. Especially when you have 2 hard-charging drivers like these 2 are. Neither one really want to give an inch. They're battling for a championship. They're battling to win here tonight.
Mike Bliss is keeping right up with these guys on those 2 tires, too. He's coming inside Kyle Busch on the bottom.
And right side of your screen, Kevin Harvick. A couple of Cup regulars, Kevin Harvick and Jeff Burton, battling for 6th spot.
Kevin had a little problem on their pit stop with the left rear going back on. It cost him a little bit of time. See a battle for 10th here.
A couple of rookie drivers, Brendan Gaughan, Scott Lagasse. Lagasse coming off that top 10 at Nashville, and we talked about the 38 of Leffler.
Going down or something.
Well, that's Kyle Busch complaining about maybe a tire issue here.
Yeah, he has been passed by Edwards and has slowed up now and backed up.
He has lost a lot of
car.
Drastically just changed.
He has lost a lot of ground in a hurry right here, and he was way up on the racetrack too.
Yeah, it's not many times that someone like Kyle, who has as good a feel of their race car, that this is going to be something else besides a tire problem. I'm sure he's going to stay out there as long as it's not too bad and try to hold out and see if they can get a caution, because if he comes to pit road, he's going to get a lap down.
Yeah, there's one problem here with this whole thing, just like what you asked him in the in-race reporter question was, are you going to race any different now that you're racing for a championship? This is that situation right here. What do? You want to save points.
Big picture now. I mean, yeah, what do you do if you're the crew chief and you know that he wants to win the race, but you got to think about what's going to happen when you come back here in November. How far behind will you get if you hit the wall and have to call it a night?
Well, that's the thing. I'm going to be watching these lap times real close. If I see those things and he's going way high here, if I really think he's got a flat tire, I'm calling him off the racetrack.
While you watch this battle, by the way, the 99 of Michael Waltrip is officially out of the race, and now Shannon has caught up with him. Shannon.
Doc, a pretty disappointed Michael Waltrip down here in the garage. The guy's working on the car. Tell us what you think happened out there, Michael.
I think I got run over. First of all, I want to say thanks to Best Western, not only for sponsoring my car, but for the relief they're providing back in Tennessee. That was terrible last week over in Nashville. They're stepping up and taking care of a lot of good folks. Thanks to Best Western for that. Secondly, what the heck? I mean, I just got run over. Racing's crazy, man. You know, I was on older tires. My guys told me to stay out, and there was no excuse for it. Carl Carl's always sorry, though, so I'm sure I've got that going for me.
All right, Michael Waltrip down here in the garage, but you can see these guys are working hard on this 99. Definitely going to try to get him back out onto the racetrack.
The balance looks fine. Is it bottoming out or something?
No, it's not turning. It's like the fenders are knocked in 12 inches on each side. It's so tight. I don't know what's wrong with it.
Definitely got a problem. He's too tight, and then you would think maybe that's a flat or a tire on the right front going flat. Shannon, what's he saying?
Like that, because it doesn't feel like it's traveling on the left front anymore.
Hey guys, this is something that this team really battled in practice. I spoke with Jason Ratcliffe before qualifying. He said that they really tried to free it up, but they also built a lot of adjustability into this race car. They're afraid they may not have many opportunities, though, with the amount of cautions, the little amount of cautions that we see in this race. But right now, tight race cars, you heard Kyle Busch say.
Well, I just don't think it's just a little tight. I think he's definitely got a problem of some kind here. Don't know exactly what it is, but this is not just a one adjustment from being too tight.
Yeah, he is really slowing down. He has gone from the lead, now losing the 8th position to Brad Keselowski and in jeopardy of going out of the top 10 here in less than 5 laps. We'll check on the 18 situation with Kyle Busch when we come back. Carl Edwards, the leader here at Phoenix. ESPN and ABC is your destination for the NBA playoffs tomorrow. First at 1 Eastern on ESPN, Ben Gordon and the Bulls face Paul Pierce and the Boston Celtics. And at 3 o'clock Eastern on ABC, Rip Hamilton and the Pistons take on King James and the Cavaliers. The NBA playoffs, first round on ESPN and ABC and ESPN360.com tomorrow and continues all weekend. Moving in on lap 50, just about a fourth of the way through, and there is the 12 car of Justin Allgaier, the rookie who started back in a backup car in 42nd.
He is coming to you, right front, right side.
He has now gone by the 18 car, and you hear the complaints still emanating from Kyle Busch.
Yeah, he's sure he's got a problem now. He's coming in, he says, next time.
And one of the problems is now he's over 12 seconds behind the leader, so he's going to lose even more time. They're probably just going to do right side tires here, because it looks like that right front is down. Well, it looked like coming off the track. It's hard to tell right here.
It's hard to tell. Well, I think I'd have to get 4 tires. I'm going to bring him down.
Transmission's stuck in 4th gear.
Uh-oh. Well, from bad to worse. You heard him say his transmission stuck in 4th gear.
Right sides only, guys. Right sides only.
Problem with that is getting his pit road speed, make sure he didn't speed.
Leave that right side up, Tate. Leave that right side up. Grab a jack stand. Go back over there. Get it up.
You see the official tell them they needed a jack stand over there.
Bring me a jack stand.
Yeah, you don't let those guys get under the car without a jack stand.
Dude, drop it. Let's go.
Let him down. Let him down. Let him down. Let's go.
Boy, costly mistakes there. Mistake, I say that, with the transmission. That's a part and piece that you like to think is pretty bulletproof these days, but they can get hung up, especially as the driver's coming in and trying to maybe grab some gears. You can get it hung up, the linkage hung up there, and seems to be what happened.
He will be scored 2 laps behind the leaders now if he can get back up to speed where they can get back around him. Back in 35th position.
His only chance at the race tonight of having anything good is if this thing goes green for a while and he can get one of those laps back as the other guys up front have to make a green flag pit stop. But
right now they're trying to figure out on the right over there if they really had a flat or what the problem really was. They're checking the tire temps right here. They're looking for a hole.
'20 car and 33 for 3rd position, Logano and Harvick will take it away.
Now, Harvick's car looked really good on the apron of the racetrack coming off the corner, and that's where a lot of these guys are going to race. They'll race completely below that line.
And that's when you know Kevin Harvick's good here. We've seen him run well here in the past, and he really, when he gets that thing, those left side tires below the apron, that's when Kevin Harvick's hooked up. What's he saying, Vince?
Well, what he's he's really saying is how much he wishes he wouldn't have lost 5 spots during that first pit stop. That was really under his skin, and you know the pit crew has been a problem for Kevin Harvick throughout the course of this season, an issue that they have addressed on multiple occasions. He says the car is good. It's just a shame he had to pick up 5 spots that he lost in the pits. Those words were stinging in that pit box, I can assure you.
Well, he did lose a few spots on that last stop, but he did win the race the last time he drove this car, and he won it off pit road. So, you know, you win some, you lose some, and it was early, so they have plenty of time to make this up.
Yeah, that's the good thing is it did happen early, but as a driver, you know how difficult it is to race him past here, and you don't want to have to use up your car and take chances whenever things like that. But we will say, whenever he won at Bristol, his pit crew stepped up and got him out in front, and that may help make the difference.
And you see Kyle Busch going on the outside now with those fresh right side tires, able to go by with some of these guys that now have about 45 laps on their tires.
And you know, sometimes he might not have had a flat, but sometimes you just get a tire that doesn't work, and that might be the situation here that just gave him that feeling. The right front wouldn't stick, and he thought that the tire was going flat.
Yeah, but it's so rare to have one that far off unless there's a real problem with it. I'd be surprised if they didn't have it going down or something wrong.
Oh, he slips up across the racetrack there and gathers it back in. Now, coming into tonight, Kyle Busch had drawn to within 23 points of Carl Edwards in the standings, and by leading a little bit ago, he was within 13 points. Now he is being shown 152 points back, but still in second spot.
Amazing how things change. Carl Edwards creates an accident that almost got himself involved that could have been disastrous to him. And then Kyle Busch does have problems, but Carl Edwards is taking advantage of this right now. He's way out front. Mike?
Yeah, he's taking advantage of it, but he may have some problems of his own, DJ. Listen in on his radio. Seems like there may be some concern in the 60 cam.
10-4. I got a little bit of a vibration or rear end, like a drive line or rear gear or something. I'll keep track of it. Yeah, something's definitely amiss in the rear end.
And right now the 60 car cruising along, but Carl has cautioned his team, told them to be ready and have some rear end parts ready to go in case they have to make a stop. Right now he may seem strong, but there may be a problem brewing.
Yeah, he may have a loose wheel on that car too, Mike. Just watching that car get down in the corner, it looked like the left rear was shaking. I don't know if that's part of the vibration or a symptom of it.
So the car second in the points has had issues and is now being shown 2 laps down. That is Kyle Busch. And the points leader and race leader may be having a problem develop with the rear end of his car. Stay tuned. The vibration apparently getting worse for Carl Edwards. 60 laps in. We'll be back with more from Phoenix in just a moment.
Little twist of plot early in the Bashas Supermarkets 200 at Phoenix International Raceway. Carl Edwards leads while the other player in what has been the season-long tight fight for the championship so far, Kyle Busch, has had his troubles. They were 23 points apart starting the night as they run now 146 between the two, with Kyle Busch being shown back in 32nd position. Shannon Spake is in the 18 team's pit. What are they saying down there, Shannon?
Well, Alan, I mean, what aren't they saying? This race has just been one thing after another for this 18. They had a bad pit stop because of a jack. The jack couldn't get under the car. The guys have grinded down the jack. Most recently, Kyle Busch went out for that last restart and said the car started off loose and then all of a sudden went tight. He thinks he may have a broken shock. He thinks the camber shim may have fallen out. He cannot dissect exactly what is going on. They did bring the car down. There was a cut in the tire. The air pressure was low, but the car has not gotten better since they changed those right sides. So the team is planning at this point to change the front shocks when they come down for a pit stop. So it is just madness out here in the 18 pit stall. Now over to the Craftsman Tech Garage with Tim Brewer to try to explain what is going on.
Yeah, good luck with that, Shannon. But anyway, when you got a shock absorber failure, folks, you got a lot of really thin shims inside the shock absorber. It's also sealed and it's pressurized in a chamber. But when a shock absorber loses air pressure or nitrogen pressure through this valve, it seems to cavitate a lot. It changes the handling characteristics of the car. But still, yeah, when you break something in this shock absorber, you know, you're sitting here on a coil-bound situation where this is the installed height of the spring. It's a solid spring like this, and it's sitting there actually, and the only really deflection you have is in the sidewall of the tire. So like you said, Shannon, it's going to be a guessing game right now until you actually change the shock absorber. Alan?
He put all that expensive stuff in the car to hold up the right front corner. Now you don't have it anymore. It can be a problem. Nationwide Series champ Clint Boyer is in the pit studio with us watching all this. You're in the car. You know something's wrong. You're trying to help your crew chief with some information. It's got to be frustrating for Kyle.
It is. It's absolutely very frustrating, and he has to stay calm. That's the hardest thing. It's easier said than done, but he has to stay calm, try to relay what he's feeling, what he's thinking, you know, and he's done that. If it's a broken shock, but you know, one thing to think about is they came in. Obviously, she said it had a little bit of cut in the tire. They put 2 tires on. It's probably going to be a little bit tighter. So you know, got to stay calm here, collect your thoughts, and come up with a game plan. Hopefully, the caution comes out soon, and you can come in and look at it.
Now, agree with me or disagree, but right now the 18 is duck hunting. It's a play on Carl's sponsor.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
If he can he's 2 laps down, but he's the next car behind Carl Edwards on the racetrack. He has no hope of getting the free pass until he gets back to at least 1 lap down.
Yeah, but they're a strong team. If they can get this car fixed, you know, he might be able to be a car that can contend with passing a leader and getting that lap back and then getting back 1 lap down and get the lucky dog. So he's not out of this thing. It's never too late. You never give up.
All right, so watching that 18, looking for that 60, Doc, and seeing if he catches him before the caution comes out or not.
Well, guys, here's the good news for Kyle Busch. Either he's adapted really, really well with his remarkable talents, or the car's adapted, because the last 2 laps, he is the fastest thing on the racetrack. He is actually now moving in on Carl Edwards to be able to run down the leader. So maybe things are looking a little back up again for the 18 car.
I don't think it was nearly as bad as what he sounded. I mean, he was finding almost everything wrong with it, but the car is very, very competitive. You can see he is running this 60 car down, and he's probably going to get one of these laps back. If I'm down there in the pits, I don't panic just on what he's saying. I'm watching these lap times, and if they're as good as I see right now, I'll leave him out there and just try to get back on track.
Yeah, right now he's hoping that a caution doesn't occur before he can get to Carl Edwards and get one of those laps back. So the car, it does look like it's much better. You don't know exactly what it was.
What's on your gauges?
Only a couple of pounds of air could make a huge difference in the way the race car was driving, so that could have been it, and everything is fixed now. He's just hoping for no caution.
9, 13.5 volts, 75 PSI, 30 on the water.
So the drama building here in the desert at Phoenix International Raceway. Carl Edwards is our leader. He's very familiar with what happens if you lead the laps here and they wave the checkered flag. You get to do that signature somersault. Carl won it here as a rookie back in 2005, and he won it again last time we were here in fall of 2008. "20 laps away from halfway here at Phoenix International Raceway. NASCAR Nationwide Series action. Carl Edwards is our leader. Let's take a look at our Holiday Inn race summary. There have been 4 leaders, 5 lead changes. Carl Edwards has led the bulk of the laps tonight. The average speed just over 106.5 miles per hour. There are still 18 cars on the lead lap. There have been 9 laps under caution, 2 different caution flags. Kyle Busch lost 117 points because of having to go to a pit road for an unscheduled stop, and is now being shown 2 laps down in 29th position. Now, there were some possible issues developing with the 60 car. Let's listen in.
Think the motor's going to blow up. 4, 10-4, man. Give us your gauges here. What's on your gauges? 210, 240, 9, 75 PSI, 30 on the water. 4, copied all that, 10-4.
Guys, you heard the numbers. What do you think?
The numbers say everything's fine, but he's feeling something in that car that tells him he's going to blow up. He's fixing to blow up. I don't know what it is, whether it's a vibration or what it is, but those numbers were all normal.
It's scary to think how fast he might be if all this wasn't happening with the rear end and the engine's going to blow up. A lot of things happening with this race car.
Go ahead, switch boxes, try that.
Biggest thing that's happening right now is he's just pulling away. He's got about a 3.5-second lead on Greg Biffle.
Let's see if we can get more information specifically from the pits on the leaders, as Nationwide Insurance takes you up to speed, beginning with our leader, Carl Edwards and Mike Massaro.
Well, Doc, believe it or not, with an issue that large, this team has remained relatively poised. Dan Stillman, the crew chief, sits on the box right next to Jack Roush. They've spoken back and forth, trying to diagnose what's going on with this race car and trying to come up with a game plan. You just heard Dan Stillman radio to Carl, trying to encourage him to change ignition boxes, hoping that that might be the problem. But still, Carl obviously had some concern but this team still very poised. Meanwhile, a teammate of theirs, Greg Biffle, running right behind. Remember, this is Greg Biffle's first time in this car since his win a couple of weeks ago that snapped a 76 race win streak. Spoke with his crew chief Eddie Pardue earlier today. He told me that win did two things for this team. It not only gave them confidence, it validated all their hard work. They made wholesale changes on the bodies over the offseason, and it really has made a big difference. Vince.
Kevin Harvick running in the 33, and Harvick is really having a good race car tonight. He has run a few of these laps under the 29-second mark, fastest on the track. He just came over the radio visiting with Ernie Cope and said, I'm going to save it for a little while. Ernie said, no problem, we're plenty fast. We've got 25 laps to a pit stop. Mike.
Spoke with Mike Bliss this morning just after practice, and he was not all that optimistic heading into tonight. He said the car was loose in, it was loose off, and to compound things, they were just slow. Well, they didn't change anything after practice, thinking that this track would get a little bit tighter, and it has. That's helped this car. He's pretty good right now and hoping for a very solid finish. He had a rough start to the season and looking to turn it around now, Shannon.
Mike, what a great weekend it was last week in Nashville for the 20 team. Joey Logano going to victory lane for the first time in 2008. Dave Rogers, crew chief, said he feels like the weight of the world has been lifted off of his shoulders. Hard to believe that it had been since July since the 20 car had been to victory lane. Right now, Joey Logano, he is battling tight conditions on the racetrack. Mike?
And Shannon, remember what Tony Eury Sr. did for Dale Earnhardt Jr. a few years ago? Almost like a mentor, if you will. Kind of took him under his wing and encouraged him. Well, he's done the same thing with Brad Keselowski. After such a rough start to the 2009 season, he sat down this young driver and explained to him that he just needs to do some things a little bit different. He said, now we have to go points racing. We need to be a little bit more conservative. That got through to Keselowski. The approach has changed, and the results have come. Right now, looking for another strong finish, trying to turn his season around. Shannon?
That Jason at 38 of Jason Leffler, you see him go to the inside of the 88 car. He is tight. He started this racetrack, he said, on a scale of 1 to 10, I am a 10. They did make some changes to that car, 4 tires, fuel, and a wedge adjustment. Right now, it looks like that car's pretty hooked up as Jason Leffler made the pass. Now, David Reagan, who's currently running behind him in that 6th car, David Reagan coming into this race 3rd in the point standings. He has had back-to-back top 10s, but that team is still seeking for that very first win. I bet they will be glad when they get that out of the way, and we're no longer asking them about it. Vince?
Maybe the performance of the night belongs to the rookie, Justin Allgaier. The 22-year-old running for Roger Penske has moved up 33 spots tonight. After wrecking in qualifying, he started 42nd. He's now cracked the top 10. He says this track reminds him of Bristol. No, not because of the banking or any of that nature. This is a flat track. He said it reminds him of Bristol because there's traffic all the time. And he's certainly been in it tonight coming from the back. Shannon?
Scott Lagasse Jr. started this race 22nd, currently having a great run for that 11 car. Scott said the biggest challenge coming into this season this year in the Nationwide Series is managing his expectations. He said every time he gets behind the wheel of this car, he wants to win. But right now, this team is not there. So he needs to find other ways to win every time he gets on the track. Duck?
What an impressive rookie crop we had this year. Talking about Lagasse back in 10th spot. Allgaier in 9th position, all the way from the back of the field in a car, guys, that had not been on the racetrack. A rookie in a backup race car.
Pretty impressive.
Up front, it is Carl Edwards who is still showing the way. Edwards has led twice for 74 laps. We are just 8 laps away from halfway. If you're asking about Kyle Busch, he's back in 26, but he's still on the move. Caution on the racetrack here at Phoenix International Raceway. Debris on the track, and has brought out caution for the 3rd time tonight. And just before the caution came out, the 18 car able to get by the 60 to get one of those valuable laps back.
That was crucial for the 18 car to get that lap back so he can now get in position to get that lucky dog. And here come the leaders down pit road. Carl Edwards bringing them down.
Edwards, Biffle, Kevin Harvick, and Harvick coming to you, Vince.
That's right, Kevin Harvick. Remember last time he came to the pit lane, he lost 5 spots because they had problems with their left rear, so he gave the team a little pep talk before he came in. This time, they're going to take 0.2 of a pound out of each of the right side tires and hope for a better stop. Shannon Spake.
Vince, Joey Logano says that 20 car is really tight. As you see Dave Rogers looking on, Joey pulls that car into the pit stall. They are going to take a rubber out of the left rear, try to free him up. They're also going to make an air pressure adjustment, 4 tires and Sunoco fuel. Mike.
And Greg Biffle making his stop. He's complaining the car's just a little bit tight. They'll take a round out, 4-tire change, and he's away. Meanwhile, up front, Carl Edwards, they're taking a very thorough look at that car. They had talked about popping the hood on the car and taking a look underneath to make sure that all the wires are intact. Doc?
Carl Edwards still on pit road with the hood up, and possible problems for our points leader and race leader.
They think they've got a real engine problem here, and Carl has told them they've got to find it. Got to look in there. Probably is internal.
Time, just off of 4.
Sounds like a valve spring or something going south of this.
They had to make sure there wasn't just something as simple as a plug wire come off. A lot of times here you get that rubber off the racetrack that'll fly up and knock a plug wire off.
Report here. I'll get you a report. Gotta go here. No speed. You got plenty of time.
So wow, how the drama builds. Two of the heavyweights in the NASCAR Nationwide Series Points Championship having troubles here. Carl Edwards will update his situation, and Kyle Busch in a moment. Green flag and halfway here in the Bashas Supermarkets 200. Greg Biffle, our leader. Carl Edwards did get off of pit road and did not lose a lap. He is on the lead lap, back in 13th position, and it is a scramble back in the pack.
Kyle Busch is trying to make up some spots right here so he can get up there and get that lucky dog.
He passed 4 cars from the start-finish line that got off of turn 2.
He's not finished yet either.
He's back in 20th position. He's got to pass exactly 4 more to be the first car a lap down. So it is Biffle the leader, Harvick in second, Bliss, Brad Keselowski, and Leffler in the top 5.
Now you see Busch jumping up on the outside, going around Scott Lagacy, who's on the lead lap, running in 8th spot.
Look at the run he got down the front stretch. I think he's going to have to get back to the inside here, which doesn't look like a problem. Just to the inside of Michael Annette. The sight set on Justin Allgaier there.
Yeah, he's the 7th place car. Yeah, Allgaier. And the 60 car really struggling. Looks like they raised the hood, Andy, and apparently didn't see much, but apparently the driver feels it and hears it.
If it's internal right here, you see right there, the car's laying down on the straightaway. He knew that, he felt it coming on, and there's nothing they can do. They're not going to find that on just by raising the hood. It's all internal, probably a valve spring, and when that happens, it just starts disintegrating from there. You start losing the valve and then the rest of the engine.
Mike, let's check in their pits.
And Doc, we're catching up now with crew chief Dan Stillman. Dan Stillman now just grabbing a bit of a conversation with Jack Roush, going over things. We'll catch up with him in just a minute when it's an appropriate time, but obviously his head is on other things. We'll be right back then.
Yeah, they're just trying to figure out what it is and then how long to keep. You know, he's racing for points also, so they're going to try to figure out a strategy to try to keep it running the whole race, even if it is down a cylinder.
8th position, Joey Logano trying to get on the inside of Lagacy, the rookie. That's the 2 of Austin Dillon in front of them. He's had his hands full, but done a pretty good job keeping the car clean.
He's under fire right here. And he right there. Just a little bit of shot from Logano. That's the problem. I mean, you hold these leaders up just a little bit, they get antsy on you.
Yeah, he was trying to just kind of take it easy, and he's got himself up out of the groove now. He's got a lot of stuff on his tires, so he's just going to settle back in, get that worked off.
Yeah, he did a good job right there. Just to
looks
kind
like he might have a right front flat.
Clint, you're watching that 2 car pretty closely. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, something was wrong there. Either the right front was down, or it almost looked like it was really high on the left front, like the sway bar was, maybe the pin came out or something. Something's wrong, definitely.
And that's your pit crew that's servicing that car for Austin, your Sprint Cup pit crew.
Them boys are looking good anyway. But, hopefully they can get him fixed up there, get him back out there. He needs laps. That's all he needs right now.
We'll show you what happened a moment ago. Logano battling for position on the racetrack. A little tap there with the 2 car, and the caution is going to be flying here once again for debris. There's the contact between Logano and the 2, and that brought the 2 down pit road to check those tires and fenders.
Like Clint, it looks like the left front's carrying pretty high there, like something's wrong with the sway bar. They got the hood up now. I'm sure they'll find it there.
Again, this young man, 18 years of age, grandson of Richard Childress, plans on running as many as 5, maybe as many as 7. They have 5 scheduled, may run up to 7 this year, so he can run for Rookie of the Year in 2010.
Look who got the lucky dog, Doc.
Let me guess.
Kyle Busch. He's back in it.
There's only 15 cars before that on the lead lap. One of those, Carl Edwards, who is having problems. He's back down pit road right now.
So Kyle Busch gets the Aaron's lucky dog free pass.
Being the first car a lap down. And Carl Edwards, by coming on the pit road too soon, will get a penalty, go to the tail end of the longest line, but he wanted to get that car on pit road ASAP.
Yeah, they're just trying to figure out a way to keep it running. I mean, to keep it from disintegrating the whole engine. Maybe if they can disable something underneath the valve covers, they might be able to do that, but chances are slim that this car is going to finish the race.
DJ, when you're a driver and you hear it ticking like that, you know there's something inside. What can you do? How do you baby it?
There's really nothing that you can do. It's just, you know that it's going to just be a long night from here. And it's really, you get dejected in a hurry because you had the car to beat.
My, how things change.
Yes.
He was looking good a while ago when Kyle Busch was 2 laps down. Now Kyle Busch is on the lead lap.
2 of the preseason favorites for the championship. This guy, Kyle Busch, and Carl Edwards, both having serious issues here tonight. Back in a moment. Here's the major story tonight. 2 preseason favorites, Kyle Busch, Carl Edwards, their crew chief Stan Stillman, Jason Ratcliffe, in serious discussions because both these teams are having major issues tonight.
The major issue with Carl is it could be terminal for him. The problem with Kyle Busch, they can fix it and they can probably make it good enough to win, and that's why their sense of urgency is up. They see a real opportunity to make points on Carl.
Kyle Busch is now back on the lead lap, having been able to he drove the car past Carl Edwards for 1 lap and then got the lucky dog, the Aaron's lucky dog, and is now being shown back in the 16th spot, the last car on the lead lap. Carl Edwards being shown in 15th. Also on the lead lap.
Yeah, we talk about these guys, and then let's look in the top 5, though. Biffle and Harvick are 2 guys that we know are going to run well here, but Mike Liss, Brad Keselowski, and Jason Leffler round out our top 5, so this is a great opportunity for those guys to get themselves back in the championship battle here.
Let's check in the 18 pits with Jason Ratcliffe.
Well, a lot of confusion down here today. Jason Ratcliffe, crew chief for the 18. You guys were under the hood. What'd you find?
Oh, we didn't really find anything. At first, we thought maybe we had a shock broken, but we had a right front tire with a slow leak in it. And then when we stopped under green there and put right sides on, he felt like something was still broken. But we haven't seen anything. The lap times are still good. We're just excited about being back on the lead lap right now. So now that he's up there closer to the front with some tires on it, we'll see how fast the car goes. And hopefully we got it fixed.
All right, a lot of fingers crossed up here on this 18 pit box tonight.
Guys, how important is it for them to convince their driver the car is okay?
Well, it's tough to do. I mean, he's the one that knows. He can feel it. It's going to be hard to tell. He'll know here in a minute how good it is.
Well, we'll see now just what he is made of, racing for a championship. Tonight, as much as he likes to win and wants to win every single week, this is about taking a night that could have been disastrous to his championship hope and making the best out of it.
Biffle, Harvick, Bliss, Keselowski, and Leffler lead him down. Greg Biffle, a 2-time winner here.
Down pit road, it comes to the end of pit wall, and come behind the wall, right fire pits here.
That's the radio for Carl Edwards. He came down pit road that time.
Yeah, he is on pit road right now. They're going to bring it behind the wall here and maybe try to salvage something out of this thing. Try to keep it running.
You see Justin Allgaier back there battling too. We talked about him coming from the back. Steve Wallace has worked his way at the 10th spot too from the very back of the pack.
Yeah, both of Rusty Wallace's cars having a good night, 10th and 11th spot. Stephen Wallace and Brendan Gaughan. This is a great opportunity tonight for a lot of guys, and I bet you they know it too.
Stephen Wallace, who had a tire go down during qualifying, he cut a tire, a piece of debris on the racetrack, tagged the wall, had to go to a backup car, starting at the back of the pack if you're wondering why he was back there.
You see here Jeff Burton trying very hard to do just what Kyle Busch did. He is 2 laps down, and he needs to he has to race his way by the leader to get one of them back. So he's trying hard, and he's kind of holding up Kevin Harvick a little bit. I'm sure it's a little frustrating for Kevin, but you know he's got to understand that Burton is trying to get this lap back.
There is the Carl Edwards car back in the garage area. They got the hood up and they will take a look, see if there's something simple enough that they could try to repair.
What it is, it's a valve spring and something in that valve train. They're going to maybe try to get some of the parts and pieces out of the engine where they can keep running without those things going through and destroying it.
On the left side of the screen, you can see Kevin Harvick ducked to the inside of Jeff Burton there as Burton got a little bit loose on the exit of turn 2.
Yeah, Harvick has a good car. I saw him the last run. He ran Biffle back down. Greg Biffle has got some damage on the front skirt of his car where on low air pressure or something, it's kind of busted away that bottom part of it. It's hurting him a little bit, I think. See a 3-wide battle right here. Look at Jason Leffler going between David Reagan and Logano. Where does he think he's going there?
I don't know. Somebody not tell these guys you can't do that here.
That is 5th, 6th, and 7th place, and right behind him. Now that gives a chance for Allgaier to move in on the 7th place car of Leffler.
It's just like you were talking, Andy. These guys are excited. They know they have an opportunity here.
Don't overdo it, though. Looked like Reagan may have got the worst of that. That left rear got some damage. Hopefully it's not going to go flat on it.
You heard Vince Welch tell you that Justin Allgaier talked about how this track reminded him of Bristol. Well, folks, remember in Bristol, he finished 5th. Had a great run.
Yeah, I don't know that I ever thought about Bristol and Phoenix in the same breath, but you know, whatever works for you. That worked really good for him to have that mindset. That's great. Vince, what's he saying now?
Yeah, exactly. I laughed at that too, but he said, well, you're always in traffic, so that's what it reminds me. Hey, when you're 22, DJ, you say, you know, things are a little different perspective, right?
That's right.
But he also made the comment about racing at night, and he said it's the first time he's ever raced under the lights. He's never done it before, didn't practice under the lights. He said it's kind of like going to high school and having to take a test knowing you didn't study. That's not a good feeling, but so far so good. Shannon?
Vince, Jason Leffler's very happy with his 38 car. He came down pit road, did not make any changes on that last pit stop. The car was a little bit loose on takeoff, but the car is getting better. Right now, this is a great run for this 38 team, Doc.
With Carl Edwards now having issues that will actively, as of right now, change the points lead here in the NASCAR Nationwide Series. This guy, Kyle Busch, who has now come from 2 laps down to get back on the lead lap and now become the points leader by 35 points. 79 laps to go.
74 laps to go in the Bashas Supermarkets 200, the NASCAR Nationwide Series. Live on ESPN2 tonight from Phoenix International Raceway in Arizona. There's the leader, Greg Biffle. Biffle took the lead at lap number 99. We're at lap 126 now, working 127. Biffle taking the lead when Carl Edwards, the championship leader coming into the race, had engine problems and made an extended stay on pit road, a stay that is on pit road that has eventually wound up with his car being behind the wall. An update there in just a minute. We have a little thing going on called our Verizon Wireless Mailbag. Ask the Analyst. Clint Boyer, the Nationwide Series champ, is our guest analyst for the night in the pit studio here. So this question coming in from Blacksburg, Virginia, wanted to know, as the reigning champion, which driver in the field tonight has the best chance at winning the championship this season and why? Let's put you on the spot.
You know, my picks for this season, the 18 with Kyle Busch to win the most races and probably the 60 to win the championship. I just feel like Carl's a little more solid week in and week out. Kyle's going to win the most races, but I think the championship's going to go to the 60.
Proud of you, not being shy on that. You put it right out there. Got a question? Text your question to 4ESPN from your Verizon Wireless phone, standard texting rate supply, or go online to ESPN.com and submit your question. Our guest analyst, Clint Boyer, the NASCAR Nationwide Series champ from 2008. There's the gap from Greg Biffle back to Kevin Harvick, back to Mike Bliss, the top 3 cars on the racetrack. Meantime, Carl Edwards sits behind the wall. His car being worked on there by, among others, Jack Roush, the guy in the white shirt, right up under the hood there. We go to our Craftsman Tech Garage. Tim Brewer, more on what they might be tinkering with. Tim?
Know exactly what they're doing, Alan. Once they identified which cylinder was not working properly, they're going to take the valve cover off. But what Jack's doing underneath the hood right now, he's identified it. The cylinder that's not working, you just have the fuel coming in, that's the intake valve. If there's an issue with the valve spring or the valve or even the rocker arm, what Jack's doing, he's actually taking the rocker arm off, taking the push rod out. making sure that that cylinder is inoperable. But if he does that, it keeps the valve from opening and closing, and what it keeps the valve also from doing is dropping down and locking the engine up. But that's what Roush is doing right now, making that one cylinder to where it doesn't destroy the rest of the engine.
And Carl Edwards still sitting in his car as Jack Roush and his team goes to work underneath the hood. Carl, what were you feeling inside the car?
Well, first of all, it was fast. The car was real fast. So it's too bad we had trouble. It looks like we had a valve stage where it just started vibrating. It started shaking. I could run half throttle and still lead the race. So it's a shame. It's such a good car. It's probably that instant karma from running in the back of Michael Waltrip. I got to apologize to him and his fans. I got in a little bit of a hurry there, but our guys are doing the best they can. It's too bad to have this fast a race car. So I got to thank Aflac, Ford, and everybody. We don't have to do these engine failures, but man, it's frustrating.
Well, Doc, obviously Carl Edwards very disappointed. He had a rocket ship for a long time tonight.
Just a frustrating evening for Carl Edwards. He talked about the getting in the back of Michael Waltrip, got in a hurry, and now this situation. And folks, if you're wondering, you see this battle here back in the pack. I'm going to tell you something about Carl Edwards. Here is the 8th position. That is Kyle Busch now moving into 8th and trying to get around Justin Allgaier, the rookie driver. And by the way, Kyle Busch went from 156 points behind Carl Edwards, and now with Carl behind the wall and Kyle back on the lead lap, he now holds a 52-point lead over Carl Edwards. Wow, what a difference about 100 laps makes.
Yeah, just an incredible turn with the championship events happening here. Yeah, it looked like that we were going to have a great battle between those two, and then all of a sudden it looked like Carl was going to have a huge night in the points, and now it's going to be could be potentially a big night for Kyle Busch, even though we have 66 laps to go here. Guy having a big night, and Greg Biffle leading. I thought Kevin Harvick might be up there and try to work on his back bumper some, but Greg's pulled away to about a 2-second lead here.
Yeah, and with that damage you see on the 16 car, I thought maybe that would hurt him enough that you would see that 33 car, come up there and try to catch him, and he did in that one run. But it looks like now Biffle is stretching it out just a little bit. And Biffle is just one of those guys that loves to drive a loose race car, and this is where that pays off. This kind of racetrack, if you can run that thing on that right rear tire and keep it out there, you can save the right front and make time in long runs, and that's what you're seeing right here with Greg Biffle.
Yeah, you have to really strike a real balance with your car. You say a loose race car, you need it to be kind of loose in the center of the corner as you can make it turn there, but you have to be able to really apply a lot of throttle, and you can see Greg's car is pretty comfortable to him because he's able to pass these lap cars inside or outside wherever he may catch them.
And with the two guys that have won multiple races here out of the contention right now, he's the man in control.
Well, one Roush Fenway car behind the wall, another one, Greg Biffle, is the leader. So Jack Roush watching and worried about one car, but it could be a landmark night for this guy because Jack Roush has 99 career victories at the NASCAR Nationwide Series. Mark Martin, back on February 27th, 1993 at The Rock, gave him his first win. Of course, Greg Biffle gave him a championship in 2002. Carl Edwards will give him another one in 2007. And just maybe tonight, he gets win 100 in the Nationwide Series. Lots of motorsports action coming your way. NASCAR Now presented by 5 Hour Energy, 10 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow. Some Summit Racing Equipment NHRA action in Atlanta tomorrow afternoon on ESPN2. How about American Le Mans Series action at Long Beach, 12:30 Eastern time Sunday on ABC. Of course, more Summit Racing from Atlanta on Sunday evening. And of course, next week from Talladega Superspeedway, it is the Aaron's 312 for the NASCAR Nationwide Series, 2:30 Eastern time on ABC. Now, we've talked about the guys up front. Greg Biffle is our leader. Harvick, Bliss, Logano, Brad Keselowski, Reagan, Allgaier. Kyle Busch is now 8th, Leffler 9th, and Brendan Gaughan is 10th. And let's let Nationwide Insurance take you up to speed and get you updated on the 11th through 20th place drivers, starting with Shannon and a great run from the back by Stephen Wallace.
Well, Stephen Wallace is right behind his teammate in the 62 car. That's Brendan Gaughan, who is a hometown boy here out on the West Coast. Now, there have been rumblings that Rusty Wallace Incorporated might go cup racing in the near future. I asked Gaughan about that because his name has been mentioned as a possible driver. He said that he is ready to get back to that point. He said if it was with this team, because he said with this team, he can be himself. He can give feedback, the team listens, and they make changes according to what he said. So he feels like he is in a great situation right now. Now, Vince with the 66 running right behind the 62.
That's right, his teammate Stephen Wallace 11th after starting in the back. The results haven't always shown it just one top 10 this season, but this team has been getting better. Crew Chief Dale Ferguson and his guys did a great job pulling out the backup tonight after Stephen Wallace crashed in qualifying, giving Stephen the kind of car that he could drive 30 spots forward, and Wallace has done a terrific job tonight taking care of his equipment, Shannon.
Vince, it's been so quiet on the radio for the number 11 of Scott Lagasse. It was lap 23. That was the only change that they made to this car all night long. He's very happy. This is his third start here at this track. He says every time he comes back, he gets more and more comfortable, and right now he is comfortable in that 11 car. Mike?
And Shannon, Paul Menard won a race here back in 2002 in the Southwest Series, so he does know how to get around this tricky 1-mile racetrack. Right now, he's trying to use a little bit of strategy to pull off a very strong finish. Feels like he can go the distance on fuel. They last stopped at lap 110, Vince.
Well, and running 14th is the 10 car of Brian Scott, a car that, and driver, frankly, we don't talk a lot about, but he's having a pretty solid night tonight. Says it's sliding the nose a little bit off the turns. He just doesn't have the type of front grip that he needs, but he's on the lead lap, and for this team, running top 10, top 15 is a win in itself. Caution on the track.
Caution is out. Caution is out.
Now, oil on the racetrack, we're being told, as the caution flag being waved again by Kevin Moss for the 5th time tonight. And Andy, this should put them in their window with no trouble.
Oh yeah, they're definitely inside now. As a matter of fact, I thought there was quite a few guys that could make it all the way from that last caution and that last pit stop. Got to think if there's oil on the track, it could have come out of Carl Edwards' car.
Could
all
have.
the problems they've had.
Yeah, we had a report that 31 was smoking also, so somebody put some oil down, made things a little bit slick. Now that some other guys are going to be able to work on their cars a little bit more, make some more adjustments, and see if they've got anything for Greg Biffle. As you see, 31 car here, Darrell.
That could be where the oil came from, is this car, yeah.
50 laps to go. Greg Biffle, our leader. If you just joined our coverage, Carl Edwards, our points leader, who was the points leader, has been behind the wall, now back on the racetrack after a souring engine. The 60 car being shown in 35th position, now 25 laps down.
Okay, this is money stop for Kevin Harvick's team. They lost him some spots in that first round.
Second round wasn't very good either. The rear tire changers have problems on the right rear and the left rear, so they're going to have to step it up here if they're going to give him a chance.
They got it done on the final stop at Bristol when he won the race. Let's see what's going to happen. Here they come down pit road. Let's go down to Shannon.
Well, that 20 car of Joey Logano, as you see him in the center of the screen right there, he's tight in the center. They're going to take 4 sticker tires. They're going to take wedge out of the left rear for Joey Logano. Mike.
And Mike Bliss coming back in. That car has really come to him tonight. He was expecting to be a little bit loose, but with the way the track has changed, he feels real comfortable. They're going to go with a 4-tire change on the one machine as well, hoping to make that car real good for the final run here.
Greg Biffle getting his service down and away. They're pretty pleased. So good job by Harvick's bunch. He gets out second behind Biffle. Logano up a spot.
Somewhere in the distance is where I need to
Scott
be.
Lagasse up 6 positions, back with the green in a moment.
Right now is speed.
Back live, Phoenix International Raceway, getting ready to go green for the final 47 laps of tonight's NASCAR Nationwide Series race. Greg Biffle leads them to the green. Whoa, Kyle Busch trying the high rim around turns 1 and 2. Clint Boyer, the Nationwide Series champ, with us over in the ESPN pit studio. 3/4 of the way through, Clint, a quarter to go. Thoughts on what you've seen so far?
Oh, it's been a wild night. That's why we love this this Nationwide Series. You know, that's why we love as race car drivers to compete.
Oh, trouble front straightaway. John West Townley gets turned around, and who else is going to get collected? Caution flag out. Yellow number 6 on the night, and a tough break for the rookie from Georgia who's got a used-up race car.
He may have got a little bit of help there.
You think?
When you wreck it on the front straightaway, you're usually getting help.
Yeah. Just get your chance to finish your thought on what you've seen so far.
Yeah, you know, I just going back to it. That's why we love competing in the Nationwide Series. It's always close racing. You never know what's going to happen. And let's see here. Oh, he
that would be a little contact with Michael Annett in the 15 car.
Didn't seem like he knew he was up there.
No fun at all. So yellow out here with 45 laps to go, and Clint has to run, and we appreciate your time joining us. Thank you a whole bunch, and best of luck to you in the Sprint Cup race tomorrow night.
All right, guys. Thank you guys for having me. It's going to be a long, fun year.
All right, there you go. Clint Boyer, driver of the 33 car for Richard Childress Racing, getting ready to go here in Phoenix on Saturday night, and we appreciate him joining us throughout our countdown and race coverage so far. Don't expect any pit stops from the leaders, so we'll take a break, come back for the final 40 or so laps of this one. Greg Biffle leads, Kevin Harvick, Joey Logano second and third, but Kyle Busch has come all the way back to 6th, and he's still on the prowl in Phoenix.
NASCAR Nationwide Series at Phoenix International Raceway. Brought to you by Verizon Wireless. Get the inside track from Penske Racing, race analysis from our drivers, plus highlights and more on VCast.
A topsy-turvy night for a couple of Nationwide Series heavyweights who were chasing a championship. Kyle Busch had a good car early on, but a slow leak in a slowing race car put him on pit road for a cut tire. The result, a tire change, 2 laps lost on the racetrack, and he came out in 25th position, 156 points back of the points leader, Carl Edwards. Now it was Carl's turn to have trouble. Suddenly a sputtering engine. The car began to slow, and Carl has to come to pit road. They raise the hood. Jack Roush's guys look. They would take him behind the wall, and he would be 25 laps down after they take him back and repair. There's the repair behind the wall. Jack Roush taking the valve cover and guys off to make an adjustment there.
That's why you never count anything in this sport until that checker flag falls, because this thing can still change. Even right now, Carl Edwards still on the track, and I know it looks good for Kyle Busch, but you can't count anything until that checker flag falls.
DJ, look at the point swing right now.
Yeah, it's literally 220 point change from what it was earlier to what it is now. And I know everybody out there saying, well, you know, we're 7 races in, you know, to talking about a championship. But these are when championships can be won and lost in situations just like this.
And I will remind you that Carl Edwards lost the championship by 21 points to Clint Boyer a year ago.
Harvick's pit crew did the job. They gave him a chance. He's back out. There you see Kyle Busch taking another spot away.
5th position, chasing Biffle, Harvick, Logano, and Bliss. Well, what a great night for Mike Bliss.
He has had a solid night. It kind of started off with that strategy play they played after that caution at lap 22, where they just took right side tires and gained some track position that they were able to hold all the way through the race. They've had a good solid race.
That's a lap car of Jeff Burton, the 29 in front of Bliss. Burton being shown 1 lap down.
Uncharacteristic night for those guys. Just really missed the setup on Jeff Burton's car tonight. David Reagan with Scott Lagasse. Lagasse took 2 tires on their last pit stop. See how that works out for him. Got him a really good track position. David Reagan has 4 tires as he tries to make the pass on the inside.
Yeah, we just talked about Mike Bliss doing this after 22 laps, but this is a run where they had a lot more laps than that on their tires, like 50 or 60 laps, so this may not work quite as well as we saw it work with Mike Bliss with the 2 tires.
Lagasse trying to battle back on the outside. He restarted in 7th spot, but he's in jeopardy of losing that to Reagan. And Kyle Busch trying to take the position, the 4th spot away from Mike Bliss.
And for a car that's not been driving very good or up to his standards and liking,
He's just manhandling this thing around here.
Well, there's 38 laps to go. He's still got a shot at winning this thing. You can't count this guy out. I don't care how far back he is. If he's got a car that's healthy, he's got a shot.
Yes, I don't remember the stat, but last night in our production meeting, Alan Bestwick was telling us how many times in a row, 6 times in a row, that we've had a caution in the last 5 laps.
Oh, he said it's going to happen.
So he assured us that it was going to be a caution.
Pretty much guaranteed.
Yes. See Keselowski able to make the pass there, too, on Mike Bliss.
How about Justin Allgaier? What a great race he's had, starting from the back with a backup car. This is for 9th spot.
Yeah, it seems like he and Leffler have raced all night long once Justin Allgaier was able to get up to the end of the top 10.
Allgaier wrecked in qualifying, coming out of turn 4 to take the green flag. Never even got to begin his qualifying attempt. The car he just snapped around him. He bounced it off the wall, and it was a brand new car. And we asked Justin Allgaier, the rookie, about his goals here in Nationwide Series racing for 2009.
I think that everybody on our crew would love to get Verizon Wireless in Victory Lane. I think that's a big part of it. But at the same time, for us, we also want to win Rookie of the Year. You know, that's something that, you know, we'd love to say we can win the championship. But, you know, it's kind of a long shot for us right now, and the way things have kind of started. You know, the performances are there. We got to put a whole race together and be able to finish at the end of the race as well as we run in the race.
Well, they have certainly been able to achieve some of those goals right now, but up front, one goal that Kevin Harvick wants is to lead this race.
I tell you, this is a great race, and these guys race each other really good. I remember back a few years ago when they raced for the championship in this series, how hard they race each other.
Yeah, and they better look right behind them, because the guy that took the lead late in last week's race in Nashville, Joey Logano, is coming at them too.
There's the boss. Lana Harvick.
She didn't like what she saw a moment ago there. She probably realizes they're getting closed in on, but her husband in the car she owns is going to make a move here in a moment for the win. And Vince, let's hear from Delana Harvick.
Well, Delana, you weren't supposed to be down here for superstitious sake, but now you're down in the pit box. What gives?
Well, I had to come check on our strategy. Sometimes I check in with Ernie Cope, but he's done a really good job. Unloaded fast from the truck, and I'm just really proud of these 33 guys. They've dug in and they've done a good job.
How confident has Kevin become in the race car? This is his first trip back since winning at Bristol. What did that victory do for his confidence?
Well, this team has come a long way. He's really confident. Our truck program, our nationwide program is doing really good, so he feels pretty good.
Absolutely, and looking good so far tonight as he pressures Greg Biffle. Doc?
And we might want to explain why they talked about the jinx on the pit box. You know, when Kevin broke his winless streak in his car, she was actually in the suite at Bristol. And a week later at Martinsville in the truck race, she was outside the track and he won the truck race. He said, from now on, you're not going to be on the box.
Well, so much for that. If she signs a check, she can go where she wants to.
Yeah, she can do that. Now we see Brad Keselowski coming back by, trying to get back by Kyle Busch, the 4th spot. So he sees this as a big points night too.
Yeah, Brad Keselowski is running, another one of those drivers running for the championship.
This lead's heating back up again. Kevin Harvick on the inside of Greg Biffle. That's on the right side of your screen. You see Kyle Busch and Brad Keselowski battling it out on their left side.
Yeah, he wasn't able to make that pass. Harvick really gets down in the corner. Watch him gain on Biffle right here. But Greg's car is really good through the center and gets off the corner really good and carries a lot of straightaway speed then.
You know, these top 3 guys you see on the right, each one of those guys have won the last time they raced in this series. Greg Biffle won at Las Vegas. That was the last time he raced here. Kevin Harvick at Bristol, and then the 20 car just last week in Nashville.
Pretty good group up there to be in the top 5.
That's right. They're all 3 of them trying to keep that winning streak alive.
And Brad Keselowski is certainly trying to get back to victory lane after the wins a year ago at Nashville and Bristol, Tennessee. Greg Biffle trying to hold on and get his 2nd win in 2009 in the NASCAR Nationwide Series and 3rd win at Phoenix International Raceway. He's just 28 laps away. Back at Phoenix International Raceway, less than 25 laps to go here in the NASCAR Nationwide Series event. Our leader, Greg Biffle, Kevin Harvick in second, Joey Logano third, Brad Keselowski fourth, Kyle Busch from 2 laps down in 5th position, and Justin Allgaier, boy, come up in the back of the pack. As you look at our race recap, there have been 6 cautions for 26 laps. The average speed, because of all those caution flags, just over 100 miles per hour. And the new points leader, Kyle Busch, by now 71 points over Carl Edwards, who is back on the racetrack in the 60 car, but being shown 25 laps down in 33rd position.
Well, Kevin Harvick is working on Biffle here, trying everything. He's tried it high, tried it low. He's tried, you know, it looks to me like Kevin can get in the corner real well. Greg Biffle gets off the corner and down the straightaways. Strong.
Pretty good predictor there. The leader of the most laps has won 10 times in the 14 races that have been run here. And tonight it is Greg Biffle who has led the most laps, 82.
Yeah, Harvick saying there's 4 times that didn't happen. I'm going to try to do that.
Kevin Harvick said when he came here, he grew up in Bakersfield.
No, trouble for Scott Legacy.
Oh, what a great run gone awry here for the rookie driver, and that will bring out caution for the 7th time.
Looks like his strategy was paying off for him until this happened.
Yeah, he'd kept that car up and set. He was doing a great job.
Yeah, he's got this a lot of damage on this car.
God, I can't steer hardly. I don't know.
Man, tough break.
See what happens here. See, he and Justin Allgaier racing. I believe there's going to be a little help.
That's a tough one right there.
Be one of those what you call racing accidents.
I don't know. It looks like that.
Down the bottom. Clear. Clear,
not much
clear,
Legacy
clear.
could do there.
Caution's out. Caution's out.
Legacy on pit road with a damaged car. How about here comes the 33?
Here they come. Kevin Harvick comes down pit road. Biffle stayed out.
20 laps to go. Biffle on the track. Here comes Harvick, Logano, Keselowski, and Kyle Busch. Vince.
Kevin Harvick knows that he's going to get past Greg Biffle. He's got to have a little bit more, so they're going to take 2/10 out of the right rear to try to give him a little bit more grip and a little bit more drive off that corner. We'll see if it makes a difference. Shannon.
Vince, Kyle Busch, they're going to come down. They're going to take some tires. No fuel for this 18 team as you see those guys putting those left sides on. Mike.
Pretty excited stop there for the Kyle Busch bunch. So 14 of the 17 cars on the lead lap came onto pit road. Greg Biffle did not.
That might come back to haunt him.
It'll be interesting now.
Could he be a sitting duck with worn tires and the guys now with 4 fresh Goodyears? We're going to find out when we come back for the green flag in just a moment. NBA playoffs tomorrow, 1 o'clock Eastern time. It's the Bulls and Celtics on ESPN. 3 o'clock Eastern on ABC, the Pistons and Cavaliers. Lots of NBA action coming your way. Could we see a buzzer beater here in the final lap? Some tire strategy.
We're going to
Greg
have some
Biffle
action
stayed on
here.
the racetrack.
Yeah, he did, but he's going to be a sitting duck. He's got Jason Leffler, who didn't come in, and Vernon Lamar, who did not. Brad Keselowski, the first car that took on tires.
Biffle does have a little buffer with a couple of cars that stayed out, and then another little buffer with guys that just got maybe 2 tires before you get to Kevin Harvick, the big contenders that have been.
Keselowski going underneath the 32. Lamar is now pushed to the high side. Reagan goes by. Now the guys with the fresh tires making their moves. Joey Logano, Kevin Harvick. Oh, almost 3 wide.
Oh, got a caution. Oh, big wreck here.
Casey Atwood in the 05 has come off the inside wall and come back across to the outside.
That car is torn up bad in the front.
That's really what Greg Biffle is wanting to see, is another caution to get a few more laps off of the scoreboard, or onto the scoreboard, and get the laps winding down here where he can get that jump. He doesn't have any lap cars to deal with. Got a lot of damage here to Casey Atwood's car.
I thought they were throwing the caution in anticipation of the wreck we were about to see between the three-wide battle with Kyle Busch, Logano, and Harvick.
They looked like that could have been headed that way for sure.
It's a hard lick for Casey Atwood there.
It looks like he's hit the inside wall and then came across and hit the outside.
See what happened. Yeah, it began up in the turn. O'Brien
gets clipped.
Yep.
Yeah, just straight in.
Oh, that's a hard lick right there.
Yeah, it's going to happen again, even after that.
And that's an area where I don't believe there is any safer barrier. That is concrete.
See if he doesn't hit this and then come back across and hit it again. He's going to hit the inside and then come back and hit the outside wall again.
So 2 hard licks.
And then another at the end. See, this is one of those racetracks that you don't really think about the speed, but it's a dangerous racetrack. You can hit hard here.
Yeah, you can. And that's, he wasn't expecting anything like that. Hitting clipped in the right rear. Nothing he could do.
So caution for the 10th time tonight. Hard impact for the 05 car of Casey Atwood. And now they are getting Casey out of the car. He is standing up. That is certainly great news. Cleanup continues here at Phoenix International Raceway NASCAR Nationwide Series action. 188 laps are in the books, just 12 to go. Greg Biffle is our leader. Jason Leffler, who's also stayed on the racetrack with the previous caution flag. Neither Biffle nor Leffler came in. Brad Keselowski running in 3rd spot, took on 2 fresh tires. David Reagan behind him also took on 2 tires. And Andy, the guys with 4 tires are the guys Kyle Busch, Harvick, and that bunch behind them.
Yeah, we thought they were going to be sitting in the catbird seat, and maybe they would have if they could have lined up a little further up in the line, but looks like this is playing into Greg Biffle's hands. This quick caution, running off all these laps under caution now. It's really paying off for Greg Biffle, and his tires are now able to cool down quite a bit during this cycle of caution flags, and his car will run pretty fast for a few laps, and hey, that's all we've got left is a few.
Let's see what the crew chiefs think might be going to happen here, take place in the next few laps. The 38 pits with Scott Zipadelli. Shannon.
Yep, the 38 car stayed out on that last pit stop, Doc. I'm down here with the crew chief. Second right now. What do you think we're going to see happen when we go back to green?
I don't know. We stayed out. I had a couple of situations I had to deal with. One, we got some right front fender damage. 2, I got a set of scuffs in here that we did our mock qualifying run on that aren't very good. They were pretty slow. So with the damage and all, we just kind of gambled, We were kind of stuck at 10th with the damage, couldn't go any further. So clean air and this set of tires is okay. So hopefully we just end up in the top 5.
All right, and that damage that Scott Zipadelli is talking about, that came when the 38 was running 3 wide with the 6 earlier in the race.
Shannon, the first car in line with fresh tires is the 88 of Brett Keselowski, but Tony Eury Sr., you guys only stopped for 2 tires. Will that give you enough advantage to get by those 2 cars in front of you with just 10 laps to go?
Yeah, I think it will. We was running those cars down pretty good there before the caution came out. We made a couple adjustments there 2 stops ago and kind of set the car on fire there. The car hadn't been very good all night, so we just got lucky and hit it right there. So hopefully we can get by these 2. This team, Delphi's on board with us this weekend. We just need a win.
Well, as they say, timing is everything. Vince?
With Ernie Cope, the crew chief for Kevin Harvick. Ernie, Kevin was running 2nd place with 20 to go. What convinced you to come in and pit 30 laps on your tires at the time?
Well, they slowed down about 9/10 of a second, so we thought that was fair. We come down and we get a good bunch of them to follow us down, which that worked out. All these cautions are killing us, though, but we'll see what happens.
Think you got enough time?
I don't know. It's going to be tough. It'll probably be like 7 to go by the time we take the green.
Doc?
Well, guys, the comeback of the night belongs to our current points leader and in-race reporter, Kyle Busch. Let's talk to him.
Kyle, Dale Jarrett, you have a copy?
Oh, I'm here.
Well, what an interesting night you've had, young man. I know it looked bad and kind of bleak for your championship hopes for a while, but you've made a pretty nice comeback. How is your car right now?
Well, we certainly have made a comeback, that's for sure. Guys never gave up, and we're still not sure what's wrong with this thing. It still feels funny. For some reason, we've been battling it all night. It was fine in the beginning of the race, was turning good, and something popped up front, and we all of a sudden went tight. We had a flat, of course, but it just hasn't turned to center since. It hasn't been that great there, so we loosened it up, but all we got it was the back boost, entry, and exit real bad, and the center's still a little tight with the front, so we're going to see if we can't hold on and make up a couple spots somehow.
That was going to be my next question to you. Looking there and the number of laps you're going to have left, just how aggressive do you go here?
Oh, it's balls to the wall time, man. We got to go. Wish we would have red flagged this. We would have had a little extra time, but you know, Harvick's behind us. He's fast. Joey's fast behind him, so we've got to play offense and defense here if we can.
All right, man. Good luck. We'll be watching.
Oh, keep an eye out.
Don't worry, we will be.
Oh my gosh, you know, I got to believe he may be. If you in baseball, you got a closer, you got a guy you bring in that just is incredible in the last couple innings. This guy may be one of the best closers in all of NASCAR, be it Cup or Nationwide. Remember when he got frustrated at Bristol when he drove that thing from the middle of the pack all the way back to a top 10 finish in the final laps? This should be fun to watch.
It's just frustrating to see all these laps being clicked off under caution, though. You know, these guys have these tires and can't do anything with them if they don't have some laps to work with.
Yeah, we've generally seen that in this type of situation that might have gotten a red flag and had enough laps left here. But once again, they're playing, I mean, and not that they're showing favoritism, but they're playing right into Greg Biffle's hands for this to work for him. As you said, his tires have cooled off quite a bit, and this should help him.
One to go. It'll be green next time by. When they come through the line, they'll be given the single finger. There has been a caution flag inside the final 5 laps in the last 6 races, and 10 times of the 14 races we have run here overall. So you expect to see at least one more yellow flag.
Yeah, there's still time. And this is the point of the race. It really, really heats up.
I will tell you, if you want to look at numbers, the leader here at Phoenix with 10 laps to go has won every single race that's been run here. There's never been a pass in all 14 nationwide races, but that could change.
A good chance it could change right here, yeah. And if we could have got, you know, somewhere outside of 10 laps, I think there was a better chance. But Greg Biffle is so good. He knows what his car's capable of doing. He's got no traffic to deal with. He just has to go as hard as he possibly can. These guys have their hands full if they're going to change that stat tonight.
The first rookie to ever come here in the NASCAR Nationwide Series and win a race on this racetrack, Mr. Biffle. He's pretty good here.
He's been pretty good since he started, really. I tell you, I wouldn't want hardly anybody else in that car for this little short run to the end, especially at this track.
Pace car pulls in. We'll see what we got here. 7 laps to go. It'll be 6 this time by. Can Biffle and Leffler hold off the guy with fresh Goodyears?
Nice start there. Too much going on here. We want to watch Biffle, see if he's able to hold him off. And Kyle Busch told us what he was going to do, so we've got to keep an eye on him, too. Looked like he slipped a little off of turn 2. Harvick gets to the inside of him.
Harvick will make a move. He may bring Joey Logano with him. And up to the cross the racetrack. And Lamar goes up there.
That's a caution that didn't happen right there.
Yeah, that's right.
Kyle Busch digging back on the outside. There's Allgaier. He made a move. A good move by Stephen Wallace a moment ago to pick up a couple of spots as well because of that slip. And there's our caution with 5 to go.
You knew it was going to happen. Alan Bestwick told us.
All the way last night.
Looks like John West Townley spun it around over there.
Caution number 11. He will bring it now to pit road.
Yeah, he's got water blowing out of this thing. Involved in an earlier wreck there, and they tried to just patch it up and run some laps, but didn't patch it up quite good enough.
We'll see what happened to the rookie here.
More than likely, this radiator they've got strapped in there has drug a hole in it and got some water down on the tires. NASCAR really encourages these guys to fix the cars right before they send them back out there because of that right there. You don't want to influence the outcome of these races by bringing out a late caution.
If you want a ticket to the race, here's where we're going to be the next few weeks. Down at the Talladega Superspeedway next Saturday. Of course, we head to Richmond, the action track, Darlington. Oh, boy, the granddaddy. One of the greatest tracks. I love going to South Carolina. Lowe's Motor Speedway. You can read the list there. Why don't you join us for our live flag-to-flag coverage of the NASCAR Nationwide Series. And, of course, tickets available. www.nascar.com/tickets.
See the ball back there a little bit. What's going on?
Apparently that was oil on the racetrack coming out of the 09 car of John West Townley, so they will call off the restart here and try to get some oil absorbent on the racetrack. Let's listen in on the radio for Jason Leffler.
Tell you what, dude, looks good off it too. Yeah, I may get him here. He got me on that restart. He went real early. He actually went before the line, but.
Sounds like Jason Leffler is pretty confident on this next restart.
Yeah, I learned a little bit on that last restart, and
he was strong too. Now he didn't let Greg Biffle get far away at all.
Well, he has his plan as to where he might want to make this, so he knows where his car's the best, and that's what you have to know in this type of situation. We're going to have a green-white checker here.
We mentioned he's never won here in a Nationwide car. He's won 3 times in a USAC midget, once in the Silver Crown car. Finished second here. And he has his last win came, 2 years ago at ORP. He gave Toyota their very first ever victory in this series.
And that track is a lot like this racetrack, the way you drive it. And that's why I think he's so good here.
Both races last year finished with a green-white checkered. We will now make it 3 in a row because NASCAR has confirmed this will be a green-white checkered finish.
Get that one attempt. Caution comes out while they're trying to make that one attempt, then the race is over right when the caution comes out.
Yeah, that's the key, and that's why Jason Leffler's not going to be able to wait around. He's going to have to be up on it, get in the gas from the word go, and try to make that happen early in case something should happen back in the pack.
And Greg Biffle got such a great restart a moment ago, just pulled away by 5 car lengths.
Hey, you heard Leffler say he thought he went before the line. He'll be ready this time.
And we're being reported to us that Casey Atwood, the driver of the 05, is being transported by ambulance for further evaluation. We saw him get out of the car, but 2 hard impacts, and it's just, I'm sure, precautionary, but they want to transport him to a facility here for further evaluation after that incident here just about 15 laps ago. Lots of motorsports action to come your way tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. NASCAR Now, presented by 5 Hour Energy. Some Summit Racing Equipment NHRA action in Atlanta, 6 o'clock Eastern Time. On Sunday, ABC action, American Le Mans Series at Long Beach. And, of course, next Saturday, NASCAR Nationwide Series action. I love going to Talladega Superspeedway. The Aaron's 312 at Talladega, 2:30 Eastern Time next Saturday, of course, on ABC. Let's go down to the 1 pit and talk to the crew chief, Mike.
And, of course, that's Mark Reno. And, Mark, speaking with Mike Bliss, before the race began today, he wasn't sure what to expect based upon what he experienced during practice. What's he saying right now?
I don't know. We haven't talked since the last caution flag when he pitted when we told him not to. We essentially could be running second right now. And we haven't talked since the last 10 laps.
Well, guys, obviously some communication issues here in the 1 pit, Shannon.
Down here with Mike Kelly, crew chief for David Reagan. What have you guys got for him on this green-white checkered?
I actually think we're going to be pretty good right here, David. David's done a great job driving the discount tire Ford Fusion tonight, and it was started off really tight. And, track position was a premium. We got it up there now, and I think he'll get after it. I think we can get that 88 and the 38 here.
All right, it was 2 tires on that last pit stop, Doc.
2 tires for David Reagan. Remember, he will only run 20 races this year, giving up that car to Eric Darnell at Richmond. But he has had a very good year. In fact, came in and still holds 3rd position overall in the point standings.
He's had some solid finishes this year. You can see there, started off with the top 10 at Daytona, top 5 in California.
The 26th at Vegas, he was leading the race whenever he spun coming out of turn 4. So had another good run going there.
His career best finish was 3rd at Memphis, so he could equal that tonight and maybe better it. Jack Roush sitting on 99 wins in the NASCAR Nationwide Series. Mark Martin gave him his first win back in 1993. Could he get win number 100 here tonight, courtesy of Greg Biffle?
Had a tough night with Carl Edwards, the team car. Motor going south. Still got a chance to get that 100th win, though. Good day, bad day.
5 different drivers giving him these wins. Mark Martin gave him 40 of those. You see Edwards 20. Biffle trying to give him his 17th victory. Jeff Burton, by the way, won here, gave him his first win at this racetrack.
Yeah, that's a pretty good starting 5 right there, I'd say, guys.
Yes, sir.
Again, now you get one attempt at a green-white checkered finish. If the caution waves, the race is over immediately. See if Greg Biffle can hold them off. Here they come with a green flag.
Is he going to change his starting point a little bit here?
Yeah, he did. He jammed them up behind. A lot of cars running into each other behind these guys.
And Bliss is getting under assault from above and below. There is Brendan Gaughan.
Yeah, we might have some penalties forthcoming from that, because you can't pass to the left regardless of what happens.
Out of turn 4, white flag, little contact there. McDowell and Stephen Wallace. Here comes Biffle.
Left-four drove it hard down into turn 1. Here comes Kevin Harvick on the inside of David Reagan.
It's going to be a little too late. Looks good for Greg Biffle.
Well, the numbers said there has not been a lead change in the final 10 laps in 14 previous races. How about making it 15 races?
Bring it to us.
Because Greg Biffle will come down and win it at Phoenix. Jack Roush has now won 100 races in the NASCAR Nationwide Series.
Awesome job, Biff. Awesome job. Big crew, nice job. Yeah, boys. That's the way you got to do it. Week in, week out.
Well, we thought Greg Biffle was going to be a sitting duck when he didn't make that pit stop, but sure did pay off, didn't
Man, it sure did. I honestly would have never believed that those guys could have stayed out there in front, but he and Jason Leffler did a fantastic job. Finished first and second.
Well, let's go down and visit with the man who now has 100 victories here in the series.
That's right, and the entire team coming over to congratulate you, Jack. Tell me what was going through your mind during those last laps.
There were 3 calls to be made there. Eddie Pardue, has a choice to make whatever call he wants. Our crew chiefs are captains of our ship, so he decided to stay out and let them beat him with tires if they could. And if it had stayed green, it would have been likely that 2 tires would have prevailed. But as it turned out, there were a couple of cautions, and what he said, all I need is 2 cautions and I'm going to be fine, and that's exactly the way it worked out.
You're celebrating your birthday on Sunday. You've now got your 100th win in the Nationwide Series. How meaningful is this for you today?
Well, that's all great stuff. We broke a valve spring on Carl Edwards' car tonight, which has caused us a great sadness, but we're happy about the 100 wins. There's been a lot of great drivers, a lot of great teams that have done that over the years, and we're going to enjoy the moment.
All right, it's his 67th birthday, but we're going to wish him happy 100 here tonight. Doc?
100 victories for Jack Roush. It is win number 20 in the NASCAR Nationwide Series for this guy, Greg Biffle, the 2002 Series champion who won here as a rookie way back in 2001.
The way to wheel that thing, man. You outrun Harvick. This is his home right here. He's pretty damn good out here, and you held him off like that.
Biffle takes the win. Jason Leffler finishes second, and Vince is with him.
Well, Jason, you told me this afternoon you felt like you had a car that could win the race. How much did that last yellow hurt you in the fact that you didn't really have many laps to get it done at the end?
Well, I mean, we didn't take tires. All those guys behind us did. and but we took off there for a good couple laps. So it was a great call by Scott Zipadelli. Guys are doing a great job. We keep running like this, we're going to win some races, and it wasn't quite as good as I thought it was going to be before the race, but it turned out really good for us. So proud of everybody. Glad to have Great Clips on board. Appreciate all their support. Toyota, Todd Braun, the whole Braun family, everybody at Braun Racing done a great job over the winter, and results are showing.
Absolutely. 38. Jason Leffler, second tonight. Doc.
Guys, what a wild night. By the way, Brad Keselowski, third consecutive top 3 finish in a row now. And this guy, what a great job, what a great call. And troubles for his teammate, Carl Edwards, though, is costing the points lead tonight.
Jack Roush said he wasn't going to let that rain on his parade. He was going to enjoy this 100th win.
And there's a disappointed Carl Edwards back in the garage here. He came in with a 23-point lead. He will leave here with a 47-point deficit to Kyle Busch.
Yeah, but you think a lot of racing to go, so only 47 back. He can get that back in one race or a couple of weeks.
What a night for some heavyweights in the NASCAR Nationwide Series as we get set to go to Talladega. But what a night for a former series champion, Greg Biffle, who gets his 3rd win here at Phoenix. Let's go down to victory lane.
Greg Biffle now climbing from the car. It had been 76 races since he won. He snapped that streak in Vegas. Now his first time back behind the wheel since that win. He's in victory lane again. Consecutive starts, consecutive wins, but you had to do it with old tires. What was that like knowing there were a few guys behind you with fresh rubber?
Man, I was really worried. I thought we were sitting ducks, you know. But these tires are so good. Once the tires cooled down under that caution, it really pitted on, the car took off again and just hauled. I'm so glad for City Financial and all these guys and all these race fans. You know, they do so much for us. And I'm just so excited. 100th win for Roush Fenway. Just excited for these guys to be back in victory. And the pit crew won this race tonight. They did a phenomenal job. And we're going to talk about it on my radio show Monday night, 9 o'clock, GregBiffle.com.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You heard Greg talk about that pit crew. They've gone through 2-a-day practices all week to improve, Alan. It paid off tonight.
So a key call with 20 laps to go to not pit by the man left there, hugging Greg Biffle. Crew chief Eddie Pardue winds up being the winning strategy, and the Biff takes the victory tonight in Phoenix. And next week, Talladega. It's the NASCAR Nationwide Series, Aaron's 312, 2:30 Eastern next Saturday. That is ABC, and you see the championship picture heading to that race from 23 ahead to 47 behind for Carl Edwards, a 70-point swing. College Football Live is next. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Greg Biffle, your winner tonight in Phoenix.